Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Monday night. Tonight, we give you the coverage of the ISRC Livery Productions Truck Series. It's Season 8, and it's chase racing time. 5 races are left. We've got ourselves 12 drivers that are prepared for racing action for a chance to hoist the ISRC Livery Productions Truck Series Season 8 Championship. We've got now, after some change-ups right before the practice session went up, Alan Elwood, who officially had made it into the chase, he is giving up his spot. He's not able to show up for tonight's race, and instead of just being another driver in the chase, he's offered his position to the next driver. That will be Danny Cochran now entering the fray and being the 12th driver in the playoffs, meaning all 5 former champions are back in the chase. We're happy to see Danny Cochran with a chance to race. It all starts here for the Dega Showdown 250 here this evening. Talladega, way to start the chase off. What a great position that we get to see these drivers super speedway side by side, but who can survive? We will find out here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me here tonight will be Zach Hall. And Zach, an incredible racing action we've been seeing throughout this season, a shortened season, only 9 races in the regular season. We just had the All-Star race last week at Bristol, but all of that fun time racing, it's now time for the hard business. It's the start of the chase.
Oh, it is the start, Sam. Yeah, this is wild stuff, man. I mean, everybody here, all 12 of the drivers coming in here tonight, 11 points separating them. So it is still very, very close. So Talladega here tonight can be very, very critical in that because we know how the super speedways play out. Anything can happen. You could be a driver that's leading on that last lap, and you could come across and be, you know, on the tail end of the lead lap. Next thing you know, it losing out 10, 15, how many points ever it really is on that lead lap. So it can change fast. I think we're just going to have to really see who can survive tonight. This is, I think, the number 1 race. Probably people come in and circle and say, if I can get through this one with a decent finish and, you know, keep that average finish up, then the next race is where it really comes down to who's got the speed and the skill. It will really play into the hands of those drivers. But tonight could be the way you lose your championship for sure.
Yeah, it could be the way that starts out an incredible direction. As we see on screen, it's the 74 of Nick Crawford. As Nick Crawford, your Season 4 champion, enters into the chase with a 5 out of 10 confidence level for himself. Coming off of his win a few weeks ago at Nashville Super Speedway, he also has 3 top 5, 6 top 10s. And Nick's one of those drivers who we always hear, confidence-wise, he tries to be humble about himself. But we know that there's always speed underneath this 74 machine, especially at these super speedways.
He's definitely got the speed when it comes to super speedways, especially in the qualifying conditions. I think that's one thing I've noted from him. I've watched throughout his whole entire career in iRacing is Nick Crawford's been very, very successful at qualifying a super speedway. So we'll see how he can produce some laps here and, you know, getting up front early, leading the lap, getting some bonus points, getting in. Even sometimes just being up front of these races can sometimes be the key to staying out of the trouble. So I think if you're someone like a Nick Crawford, qualify well like you normally do. Try to maybe stick yourself up there for a majority of the night. Now, there ain't no stage points to play out, but I tell you what, staying out up front can still help out with that trouble issue.
And seeing Nick Crawford go down below the double yellow line, shortening the distance, hoping to carry more speed. Ali Fonseca with the first lap, it's 55.320. Crawford across the line. He'll take provisional pole currently as he crosses the line with a 54.728. The question of, do you go for the first lap, or is it the second lap where you find the most speed? Looks like for Crawford, it was attempting that first lap was his money lap he was going for.
And it definitely, I think, is going to be the money lap for him because once you drop on that apron, and kind of make that transition back off of it, you're going to lose so much speed. So Crawford there really doing a good job. But Michael Miller on his first lap around, he's going to top the board. Same for Stovall. So it's looking like the first laps are producing pretty good speed. We'll see if anybody with a second lap can come around and really find that top time, or will it stick to that first lap? Because sometimes, it's crazy to say, it comes down to tire temperatures in this with iRacing. And Fonseca now, for his second lap, he goes to the top of the time sheet. So showing there, it might be a second lap money one.
John Forbes going to be now taking the time, the three-time champion, finding some quick pace as it's a 54.578. The only driver to get into the 54.5 range. Everyone else is around that 0.6, 0.7. Seems to be the money spot, but seeing some drivers that are on their second lap to watch out for. Joshua Stovall, again, he's going to be attempting a good run for himself, but other drivers that are put down a 55-second lap time on their first runs, you've got Martin Morales, Jarrett Talmadge, as well as Trenton Jump, all trying to mark their way to get up to the top of the board, as Nico Garcia coming back after missing out at Las Vegas. The 78 will come around in second position as Jarrett Talmadge now tops the board with the 54.570, and now they're starting to get into those 0.5 ranges.
Talmadge with an excellent lap. Let's see what the 15 of Vincent Sora can do, if he can find any pace up there along with his teammates. Doesn't look like he will find as much, as he'll be slotted around 10th, but Danny Cochran, that man who will be added into those playoff positions, he's up to 3rd, so that's a great way to start his night after getting in to be a late addition.
I mean, for Danny Cochran, I'm curious on how his mindset changed. Again, we were notified just a few moments before practice started on the fact that we were having that change of Alan Elwood officially taking himself the rookie sensation that we were expected to be a threat for the championship. He is opting out of racing into the chase, giving his position to Danny Cochran, who was 13th in points after Las Vegas's race 2 weeks ago. And the two now with that change in mindset of where will he be placing himself moving forward with all of the prowess, his victories, a Season 3 champion in the past. Danny's been kind of on a trail of finding some good pace here recently. A really good run at Las Vegas. We'll see if we can carry on that momentum here tonight as he qualifies 3rd. But it's Jarrett Talmadge in the 27. He will find himself top of the board. Jar's going to find himself with the pole, his second one of the season. Congratulations to Talmadge with that time, as he was our winner of Daytona to start this season off. If you got great speed, you might as well carry it forward, as he's also been one of the fastest drivers this season to watch out for. As we have entered into warm-ups, let's take a closer look at how this season has been. It's been a fun season overall for these drivers, but again, a shortened season. Only 14 official races for points. The All-Star break we just had, race number 10 at Bristol. Congratulations to the 98 of Isaac Shelley taking the victory over the crazy wreckfest that happened at Bristol. But here tonight, Talladega, the start of the chase. It's been a John Forbes just dominant run to finish off the regular season. But Zach, this season, we've seen John Forbes, we've seen Alan Elwood, we've seen Vincent Sorga into victory lane, as well as Talmadge and Nick Crawford. But there's a lot of drivers that we know are quick that are still looking for their first win this season. There's
definitely a lot of those drivers. I mean, if you're Danny Cochran, you would like to add your name to that list here tonight after being added to the playoff list. So it would be quite the way to spur his late addition. But yeah, Talladega tonight, of course, and then Phoenix. That's going to be, I think, a really, really telltale sign once we get there. And then as we get to the rest of the tracks, it gets even tougher, in my opinion. So this is going to come down to a very close championship battle, and I can't wait to see which driver comes out on top, because this one might come out to be one of the closest ones we've had in a long time.
Curious if we can also bring up the points, because like you said, Zach, just 11 points being the difference between Vincent Sora at the very top entering into this chase, all the way down to drivers that are tied for the 7th in points window. It is right here in the picture. Top 12 drivers made it into the chase. Alan Elwood has been removed. Danny Cochran is slotted in. He will be tied with that 1,000 points window, as he did not collect any playoff points. But Zach, this is a grouping of drivers that have all looked so strong this season. And honestly, there's no true weakness when you look at the 12 drivers that made it into the chase.
There's really not. I could look at each driver and have really a sentiment to say, this is why this driver has an opportunity and a chance to fight for a championship. It's crazy to say. Normally you don't get a full list of them that you'd be like, this one maybe not, but I really could look at everybody and still have some type of maybe, a thing on the back of their mind saying this is why this guy could be in. So it's going to be fun to watch, but I definitely look at the top two. I think they're your heavy hitters because, they got the little bit of a gap, of course, already to start tonight. But from there on back, I mean, we've got other past champions such as Crawford, Cochran, and Trenton Jump. He's had a quiet season so far. Maybe he shows up late here in the playoffs.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. I know also Noah Steele. I think if there is an underdog entering into this chase, Danny Cochran, one, Noah Steele could be the other, as Noah Steele still searching for his first top 5 of the season. And he is one of the only drivers that have entered into the chase still looking for their first top 5. Also, another stat that was crazy I was looking up and looking at how these drivers were entering into the chase. There's one driver that has finished inside of the top 5 for every race but one, and his name, Vincent Sora, your regular season champion. The one race that he didn't finish inside of the top 5, he finished 14th at Daytona to start the season off. Zach, with the chase starting at Talladega, I'm curious on what the mindset for 15 could be, recognizing, hey, my one bad race was a super speedway.
I think, again, I think that is really, that why a lot of guys are probably circling tonight, saying this one could be the reason why I don't win or not win, because it is so critical. You don't really know what's going to happen. I think you got to be smart, though, and go for the big points. Sometimes going for the win will get you, wrecked out. Maybe it's going to take that more conservative approach of getting a top 5 and continuing kind of that trend for himself. So we'll see if Vincent Sora can clean that up, or will someone else take the reins from him. So it's going to be quite the battle, Sam.
And watching also drivers practicing on pit road stops with like what Zach said earlier, no stage break, no stage points will be awarded. We could go green flag to checkered flag without any yellows being thrown, and that means green flag pit stops could be critical. Drivers have been testing the limits on trying to enter as quickly as they can. A lot have been missing the mark. Let's see if they can find that perfect zone here this evening. As well as we're about to be starting our race here tonight. It's going to be Talladega, 90 laps in total, no stage break, 0 fast repairs, 4 extra sets of tires in pit road. We're expecting this race to be a 2-stop overall. But we also want to say thank you to our sponsors that have helped out here in the ISRC Truck Series, being the title sponsor, Larry R Productions. So thank you so much for Larry. He's been a sponsor for drivers, a title sponsor for the ISRC Truck Series, as well as race sponsor. He has been an all-around amazing sponsor to have for this truck series, and we love the support that he gives to the iRacing community. Also want to say thank you to Morecast. Check out all the diecasts as well as racing info. Go check out Morecast on Instagram and YouTube today, as well to the Armadillo Motorsports team, as they sponsored the Lucky Dog Award, which is also known as the Lucky Dilla Award. Drivers that go one lap down that get their lap back, you're awarded to be the Lucky Dilla. We also want to say thank you to Gridless Graphics for being the White Flag sponsor. And from us over here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we want to say thank you to Whiplash SimCams for being our camera provider for tonight's race. Drivers are gritting up. That means it's almost race time, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 2 penalties entering into the chase. We've got Cody Smith. He has acquired too many incident points of at-fault incidences. He will be given an L2 penalty, so we'll start at the end of the line here this evening. And also the number 44 of Mark Lavertone. He has been parked for the playoffs. He has also accrued too many at-fault incident points. Well, let's take a look at where the drivers start out here this evening. As top of the board for the second time this season, it's Jared Talmadge in the 27 machine. To his outside, we find John Forbes, a 3-time champ, trying to go for number 4. He'll start in second here this evening. He was just a late additive in, but he's into the chase, and now his mindset's set for another championship. The 2 of Danny Cochran starts in 3rd. 4th, we find Nico Garcia with Ali Fonseca starting in 5th. Isaac Shelley will start in 6th position with Trenton Jump 7th. 8th, we find Cody Reed with 9th, Ryan Ferraro, and finish out the top 10, it's the 53 of Eric Stamp.
Points leader Vincent Sora going to start in the 11th position. Alongside him in 12th, it's going to be the 42 of Joshua Stovall. 13th is going to be the 16 of Joshua Kanata, with 14th being held by the 3 of Thomas Green. 15th is going to be the 18 of TJ Calloway making his return back tonight. 16th is going to be the 5 of Dakota Moniz. 17th is going to be the 99 of Michael Miller. 18th position going to be the 74 of Nick Crawford. 19th is going to go to Logan Brakey, and rounding out our top 20, it's Tyler Dingler.
Starting all the way back in 21st position, another chase contender. It's the number 8 of Noah Steele. In 22nd position, we find Samuel Garcia with the 7 of Cody Smith. And Smith will start at the end of the line with his penalty accrued at Las Vegas 2 weeks ago. In 24th, we find Mark Morales. 25th, it's the 00 of Ethan Smith with Malik Kuntz. 26th, Justin Smith in 27th. And finishing out our 28 drivers here tonight, it's Justin Forbes. Drivers are set. They're ready for racing action here tonight. 28 drivers in total with no stage break. Zach, there's so much that's on the line for these drivers that are in the chase. But Talladega, if you look at the past 4 times, the past 5 times that we've raced here, we have seen a first-time winner of the ISRC Truck Series be crowned. Back in Season 1, Dakota Moniz found himself in victory lane, getting his one and only win in the series. Then in Season 2, it was John McAdams with a redemption run to get himself into victory lane. Mark Whitley found himself getting a victory at that point. He was already one of the most dominant drivers. Another first-time winner was back in Season 5 with Joshua Kanata. And then last season, the fan favorite, it was Joshua Stovall finally getting into victory lane. Here tonight, we could see it be number 5 on a potential first-time winner. But Zach, do you feel like, could it be the experience? Could it be a first-time winner? Who are you feeling like is in the better position entering into tonight?
I think I'm going to go with the experience tonight. You know, first-time winners, I think it's very, very possible here. I think you just listed all of those guys right there. I think experience tonight's going to kick in, and I think these drivers who have got it done in the past may be looking to get it done again and try to take hold of this championship early in the going. It's always great to start off on the right foot. You never want to start from behind, and I think, again, if you can get out there and get this win, I think an experienced driver is going to try to do it.
With the start of the chase, 12 drivers enter in. 11 points is the difference from the top of the board of points to 12th in points. We also have ourselves 5 of our previous 5 champions in the chase. Could we see a repeat champion? Could we find ourselves with someone starting on the perfect run to crown themselves for the first time? Well, the journey starts here at Talladega. The Dega Shootout 225 is underway. We are green as it's Talmadge, John Forbes side by side as we roar down into turn number 1. Let the chase begin for Season 8.
Excellent start from the bottom lane as Talmadge has already took control of this bottom side. We'll see if they can continue that rolling speed here through the bottom of turn number 1 here at Talladega. But Talmadge just able to hold on, but it's going to be the 11 of John Forbes with the push from the 78 Nico Garcia as the top side surges that back
surge forward, still side by side. I know a lot of drivers during practice were trying to figure out, is 3 wide the way that you want to go, or do you stay patient? In 90 laps, no stage break. You want to stay there till the very end. It's all about the finish where you're going to find critical points, as well as getting a win is going to be massive for a championship run. But it's John Forbes on the outside. Big pushes coming along from Nico Garcia, trying to assist and help. Already to see one driver get pushed to the outside, and that's going to be Shelley as John Forbes leads lap number 1. The 11, and continuing on this push. He's won the last 2 races that are points races, as we are right to 3 wide, and that didn't take long. Zach just took 2 laps, and we're already seeing 3 different lanes.
These drivers are already mixing it up here early, trying to learn what they can and put on a show for us at the same time as Cochran was able to jump from behind the 27 of Talmadge. He jumps to the lead, now jumps to the inside. We'll see, can he get a lap led? I think that's what a lot of these drivers are going to try to do. If anything, get up there, lead a lap, and add to your points total.
Lead a lap over the best Danny Cochran, now going to be the driver who leads currently on the inside. Seeing that yellow purple machine leading on that inside groove. Some new colors you can see for some of these drivers as the chase is upon us. As we cross the line, though, John Forbes with a late surge, but it's the 2 that will lead that lap. So Danny Cochran, a late entry into the chase. He's already gotten his first bonus point to run for himself here this evening.
That is an excellent thing for him already, but he knows what he has to continue to do is add those points up. They're not paid out until the checker flag, so you got the 1 bonus point that you can get for this time being. Now it's all about staying clean and staying out of the mess that can happen here at Talladega, and sometimes staying up front's the best way to do it, but he lost his partner right there as Jared Talmadge is going to immediately jump up to the outside line and do similar to what the 2 did and try to, I think, get back in front of that inside line, or will he stick with that 11 and have his running partner right there behind him?
and seen a lot of these drivers that also will be running on Wednesday nights in our WSSR VRS Cup Series. Jared Talmadge crosses the line, and the driver that won here at the start of the season for the ISRC Truck Series, he'll lead that lap, and a bonus point for Jared Talmadge. Will continue to be side by side, but John Forbes right on that back bumper of the 27, utilizing the big push, but he can't be doing that for too long as Talmadge darts to the inside.
Big darting move to that inside as some drivers in the background making some big moves also. I believe that was the 78 back there making a move back out to the outside behind the 74 Nick Crawford here. So Garcia was trying to get up in line behind this 3 or in front of the 3 and try to make this top side work, but seeing a few of the chase contenders really start to boil up towards the top here, as I think a lot of them are still focusing, trying to get that lap led, because again, not many bonus points to grab, but you can go out there and lead a lap that you can get. That is definitely an addition you'll have.
5 laps in, and everyone's still attached to the draft in some way or fashion, as our top 28 drivers, all 28 drivers, all within 2 seconds of one another. You're seeing a little bit of pockets, though, in the middle of the pack, if drivers are given plenty of room. And the decisions go high, go low. There's so many decisions you have to make instantly going this fast. Drivers want 193 to 194 miles per hour entering these corners. And Zach, they can ramp up even faster than that for some of these drivers. But if you're further on back, what is your mindset if you're in the middle, the back, what decisions you're trying to make? As we're seeing some of these drivers trying to push their way forward as we ride on board with the 15 machine of Vincent Sora.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good point of view for what I'm about to explain. This is what you're thinking at Talladega. When you're running in the pack back here in this 9th position on this outside lane, you're trying to look trucks ahead, and it's tough because look at that. That's big, that big old spoiler right in front of you. It's covering up a lot of that vision. That truck in front of you doesn't give you much room to look forward, but you have to be looking forward, because if you're not, those checkups are coming, and you'll run right through the person in front of you. So it's really kind of like you're dancing with your feet while you're at Talladega and Daytona. You're just constantly throttling in and out of that gas, and sometimes even dragging that brake a little bit to slow the speed down. So it's really a dance, so to say, as you manage your way here in the pack here at Daytona. You can see that third line starting to move a little bit now as John Forbes is even up front, jump up there. So we're getting some big action happening.
I'm not surprised we're starting to see that third lane move as Cody Reed will duck to the inside, trying to make a pass on Danny Cochran. Does not work out for himself. Instead, it's Sean Forbes. Big push in that outside lane. Now is going to be led by Joshua Stovall, who was the initiator of let's try to go 3 wide just about a lap and a half ago, as drivers are darting high and low, seeing openings and momentums that they can push forward with. But Stovall in this 42, he got the win here last season at Talladega. His first career win in the ISRC Truck Series came from a lot of help from drivers behind him. But this driver in the 42 Brown UPS crew machine, I mean, Zach, if you look at last season, it was strictly momentum, it was aggression, and that's the nickname that was coined on this 42 by the admin group, Mr. Aggressive, trying to make the big passes, as Justin Forbes now getting in the mix with the 97 in the middle of that pack.
These guys are definitely starting to mix it up here in the middle of this field, as the top side is kind of, that third lane kind of deteriorating for this time being, as Stovall and them running back here around the outside the top 10 position. So the first 2 rows really kind of making things happen right now, but that outside row every now and then does get a big run. So I think you'll see that start to come back to fruition. We get a good shot here. You can actually see down the back straightaway. Look how much momentum that third lane has. It's just picking trucks off continuously as they roll down the back straightaway. Now going to pull almost alongside that second row. So it just shows you how much momentum sometimes that top side can have. It's just all about keeping it wound up.
As Eric Stamp leads the charge on the inside, you get to see the momentum, those going forward, those going back, some falling back to get a push and assistance to get that momentum rebuilt up. As huge side draftings happening in that middle group, you're seeing the 2 machine as well as the 11 leading that middle pack, trying to get down to that quarter panel, hit the spoiler of the drivers to the inside, slow them down any little bit. As you see Jared Talmadge, third driver on the inside, kind of just running his own lane. You see that big weaving action off the exit of the corner. I mean, Zach, from a racing perspective, since I've been doing that a lot more often recently, the exit of the corner is surprisingly one of the more dangerous places outside of the tri-oval.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the tri-oval and the exits of the course can be very dangerous. It's that transition. Anytime you get a transition here at these tracks, you have to really take the wheel out of the race car, so it can make it where people are going to wander a little bit. I like to say, left, maybe a little bit to the right, and that driver behind him has to do a good job of trying to follow, but not follow too much into disaster, because that's where sometimes you'll get those issues. Is you follow someone who might be clear in the lane they're beside, but you move up to follow them, to follow them to the right, and you're going to clip yourself into the truck that's side by side with you. So you got to be very, very careful not to follow people sometimes, unless you have the room to do it also. So it is very critical to have your awareness at all times around these exits of these corners.
And speaking about awareness, a lot of the drivers in iRacing, they usually are basing a lot of their decisions on third-party programs. Sometimes they're basing it strictly on iRacing Spotter. There's 2 drivers here tonight that do have a live spotter, some other human being that is trying to feed them information here tonight. That's the 24 of Ali Fonseca. He's got Brandon Davies, who's going to be in his ear this evening, trying to give him the go high-low strategy calls here tonight. And as well for Joshua Stovall, Ryan Quick. Both of those drivers have been having their spotters all throughout the season. But tonight's going to be the big question mark of how important is your spotter and what good information can they give you to help you win. Here tonight is Danny Cochran, John Ford, big wiggle and squeeze as Eric Stamp able to sneak his way forward. It hurts the 2. The 11 gets the big push, but that middle pack, you can see the big sweeping moves that John Ford and Danny Cochran are doing. They want to be in complete control, and they've been doing perfectly at that current lane.
That was wild there. That almost ended in disaster as Eric Stamp, I think, clipped the rear end of the 2 as he came across the 53. So it was almost contact there in the tri-oval too as the 53 kind of up the racetrack. But just shows you how fast things can happen. But you got to stay on top of your toes, because next thing you know, you'll be having to lift and back out of it, because if you don't, you're going to be causing a wreck. But right now, Reed on that bottom side, he's trying to find his way to the lead with the help of the 27. But 3x3, this has been great racing so far, Sam.
Cody Reed has just been watching all the drivers swapping around this 25. He's had a chance on the inside to go for a massive run. We've seen great success for Cody Reed at Super Speedway Racing, of being in control. We saw in his past teams with Snowy Desert when it was Cody Reed, John Forbes, Nick Crawford, and also Christopher Norris. That Ford group just were always in control. It felt like at Daytona and Talladega being up front. That's exactly where we see this 25 and the 11 once again, as they just continue on this pressure to make sure that they are the ones in control of both lanes.
And that is definitely a thing that a lot of teams will try to do, is try to control those lanes. You kind of can dictate the race by that, because the runs are so big here, and it's really easy to race side by side in these trucks around Talladega, that if you don't control the lanes, you will consistently go from first to second to 15th, and you'll just be in a reset cycle of going back and forth. If you can kind of control the lanes with a team, you can kind of stabilize your position up towards that front half of the field, and I think that's what you're going to see from some of these teammates. But right now, it's starting to mix up as Reed has found his way a nose ahead of Forbes here, but that outside lane is starting to make a little bit of a charge there with the 98 Isaac Shelley.
They certainly are. And Isaac Shelley, you talk about teams, he's got his teammate, Thomas Green, right behind him. Both drivers have been doing a great job, as seeing the 3 teammates from Planet Sim Racing all have made the chase. And they have been one of the strongest teams so far this season. They have been performing greatly. If Isaac Shelley, the incredible start to the season, felt like he was going to get a pull every track we went to for a time there, as the 98 has also found some decent speed, again winning the All-Star Break race last week at Bristol. That is some great momentum you can carry forward. Yes, it wasn't for points last week, but if it's a fun race, you're racing around the same competition and drivers that you're racing week in and week out, and you say, hey, I won that, I got a little bit of cash as well. I think this 98 might be coming in with just the same amount of momentum as John Forbes, and having Thomas Green behind him, the mean green machine, is doing his best to push that 98 forward.
Getting in victory lane can do big things for a driver mental, that is for sure. And I think if you're Isaac Shelley, you're loving what you did last week at Bristol, and you're going to want to try to continue that same, good mindset. I mean, it's crazy how sometimes positivity can spread from your mind to the racetrack, and if you're out there winning, it definitely makes everything that much more positive. So I think you'll see a new and improved Isaac Shelley here these next few weeks. But we're starting to stack up a little bit now. The outside lane actually starting to form with another duo jumping up there. Vincent Soar and Danny Cochran trying to make it happen.
Back up to the outside group as Seeing the 2 and the 15, this is a iconic duo to see, as they have been tandem together ever since the very first race in the ISRC Truck Series. When they crossed the line, Dega Shootout was the one that came to victory lane, and they continue to work as one. As Ollie Fonseca's going to dart now to the inside, and he'll be in control of that inside group. Cody Reed in the middle. Outside lane's going to carry with all the momentum as Vincent Sora holds steady with 3 wide. These big pushes, massive runs. We're seeing a lot of swapping of new drivers getting into the mix and fray, but it's making me slightly nervous because some of the new drivers that are now up front, maybe they saw the moves. Can they replicate the big moves of sweeping down and low in a safer manner?
That is the one thing I will say. When you start seeing people sweeping low, going high, blocking left and right, it can make everybody get that much more, okay, we're going to start doing the same thing, and it kind of everybody gets in that same mode, and it can lead to disaster. Right now, Jarrett Talmadge going to jump out on that 24 Fonseca, trying to get that lead position back. But, you know, we'll see how it works out. I think a lot of these drivers are very, very talented at our front, and we'll see how they can master what some of these other drivers are doing.
I know that we're still not close enough for pit stops. So we're expecting this race to be a 2-stop race if we stay green. But Zach, if you're in this pack, maybe testing, figuring out pit stops, when are you thinking about getting into pit road? As we're going to be with a slight 4 wide, as you're going to be seeing Vincent Sora get shuffled out of position. He'll stay on that outside middle groove. The 15 trying to find an opening to get up into the outside lane. Instead, he'll take the middle path. We'll stay 3 wide, survive that madness for a quick second. But with the notion of a caution is looming any time, what do you think the pit stop strategies could be for some of these teams here this evening?
Yeah, I think a lot of the reason for that, Sam, that with the looming of the, the cautions, I think a lot of drivers are going to stretch this out here pretty early, because what you're going to want to do is have the ability to be able to take the least amount of fuel and maybe be able to pit the earliest of anybody. So if you stretch these runs out longer, you can kind of put yourself in that control your destiny moment for that last pit stop, where you would like to be sometimes the first driver to pit, especially depending on the timing of things. They're going to go back 3 wide wild here, but it's really going to be interesting, I think, once we get to those pit stops, to see how far they can stretch into a fuel and just really what the strategy will be.
And all the drivers, high, low, pick what lane you want to be in. Some are dedicated to just one lane. That is stay to the inside. You are not moving high, you're not moving low. And that's what we're seeing from some of the drivers that have been moving up just ever so slightly. 4th car on the inside, that's Ryan Ferraro. Behind him is Logan Brakey, Samuel Garcia. Those drivers have stayed on the inside, and they are just taking positions away. When those go high, they go low. They go high to the middle. They go up to that 3rd lane, and then they lose time and fall backwards. And if you stay in, whoa, no! Vincent Sora to the wall! Big one strikes! Everyone collected! The first yellow is out! Multiple drivers, multiple chase contenders, and they're still sliding. Come to a halt now.
Oh, this is huge championship implications. That looks like a destroyed truck and a race over for the 15 machine. And, oh, man, this is heartbreaking.
We're still waiting if there's any required damage flag for these drivers, but here is the replay. First caution coming out on lap 19 off the exit of the corner. Just looking for the aggressive bumps. Trent jumps on the very rear end. You see Jarrett Talmadge bounce high. Everyone's trying to get in line to cycle this forward, and it's John Forbes, it looks like, with the late move that just gets everyone unsettled. And that's what gives Jump a chance to squeeze, tap to the 15, and let the chaos reign as see everyone scattering across the field, trying to will their way up, some powering their way through. And probably what should have been a bigger wreck, there was only about 8 or 9 drivers, and there's Stovall getting with a late contact with a slide for the 42, and everyone able to whoa up and not add more collisions.
And that accordion effect, man, it trickled down. Forbes throws the block. 27 has to check up a little bit, but still gets to outside of him, and just it trickles down. And unfortunately, Vincent Sora there is just right there for Trenton Jump not to be able to slow up enough, and it's going to catch that quarter panel. Unfortunately, the 15, he's going to have nothing to do. Look, it's just dead right. He tried, but that thing's done.
Yeah, their best. And just clips the 45, the 42 there. Mark Morales able to jab the brakes, slows down, gets out of the way. We'll continue to race on. Again, no required damage flags looks like have been given out just yet, but obviously back changing motions, because now with drivers entering pit road, we're going to get our true clear picture of how bad is the damage for some of these drivers, and are they willing to go a lap down, or can everyone get their damage fixed before then?
You know, with that hit and just the way it ripped the fender off of the 15, I was immediately thinking required damage. There was no way that thing kept a suspension on it, but I mean, what we've seen so far, no required damage, and sometimes you can get it fixed. We'll just have to see how long it can take, and can he stay connected to the pack. I think it's going to be the critical thing for all these drivers who have major damage. And really looking through most of them, I'm surprised to see as many clean as it was right here, how many trucks were coming back across the track there.
Yeah, a lot of just side pancakes, very clean contacts side by side, a lot of sliding and smoke seem to be the bigger issue than anything else. But again, 28 drivers started tonight's race. 18th back to 28th, so about 10 drivers all getting some extended damage repair done. Minimal damage for the 18 of TJ Callaway. Nick Crawford grabbing some repair, as well as Tyler Dangler. Extensive damage for Dakota Moniz, going to be back in 21st position, but out on track. Thomas Green is going to be back to running, still in pit road. Danny Cochran, Trenton Jump, Ryan Ferraro, Vincent Sora, Cody Smith, and Justin Forbes that were all in the thick of that incident. Those were the main 8 drivers that really got heavy blows for themselves. But again, this is that tough decision. Pace car is in the center of turns 3 and 4. Do you risk going a lap down? Do you have to force and just deal with your wounded vehicle and stay out on the lead lap?
I think that's what's going to be, I think, the case for some of these guys. They're, you know, you want to get it fixed and get things, you know, repaired, but sometimes giving up that extra lap might not be worth it, but it sometimes can be worth it. That's where you got to really, I think, weigh out the options of how much damage do I really have. And luckily, sometimes you can get out the truck, you know, go in your replay, kind of look around. But I think for someone like a 15 Vincent Sora, he's probably looking like he might stick around here on pit road, because if anything, you want to have that fender on that truck, and it looks like it's still not there for him. So he's going to stick around. I think also Ryan Ferraro, and actually Ferraro, yeah, it looks like 15 is leaving. So 15 will leave, but Ferraro looks like he's actually out of the race.
Ooh, it's close. I don't know if Vincent Sora got out in time, and he's not taking off immediately. No, he did not. He is going to be 1 lap down. Vincent Sora, by a mere 25 feet, was away from staying on the lead lap. Instead, he will stay 1 lap down as Vincent Sora was leaving pit road. Ryan Ferraro has left the session, so we're down to 27 drivers out on track. 26 will be on the lead lap. Vincent Sora going to be the first driver 1 lap down. Now, if we do get ourselves a caution here quick and Vincent Sora's not involved, he could get our Lucky Dilla award, but this is a worst case scenario, you could say, for trying to stay on the lead lap and you're just not able to.
It really is the worst case scenario. I mean, if anything, he wishes he's still sitting in pit road right now, getting that repair still worked on. But I think if anything, it's just now just focus on what you can. Actually, I believe the lights
He
came
took
back
a
on the
tow.
pace car. Oh, he towed.
Lights are back on. Vincent Sora towed. He came to a complete stop. We were told that we were going to delay this restart. And for Vincent Sora, it doesn't matter. Oh, no, gets even worse.
Yeah, this is disaster. This is literally the worst thing that could possibly happen to you when it comes to a reset in a championship. The one race that you need or really the first race of that set of races that you need to go right is one of the first races of the season that go wrong for you. So that is just the most unfortunate, heartbreaking of timing for that 15, and he's going to have a huge hole, I think, to dig out of now.
And for Vincent Sora, he knows how important this race is, especially on the fact that the driver he's competing with for this championship is John Forbes. He's a 3-time champ as the 11 machine. He's only 2 points back entering tonight. And Vincent Sora is not even going to attempt to get back on track. He has left the server. Sora gets last place points. And dismal moment for the 15 machine. We'll see if we can try to get back out there on track at some moment, but Ryan Ferraro will move up to 27th because Vincent Sora took tow, and that is going to leave John Forbes leading this race as we wait for the pace car lights to go off this time by, and we will get back to racing action here shortly.
Man, this storyline's building, Sam. It's already boiling over, and this has changed the whole scheme of the race. And I mean, if like you said, his main competition there in the 11, leading this race now, this is definitely swapped hands, I'd say, of who is our possible favorite now for the championship. So this is championship implications, I think, is not a better word that could be found.
And if you're Vincent Sora, I mean, at this point, the rest of your chase is just win out and hope that you can find enough points, because this poor of a start, you need John Forbes to have a falter, which is rare to see here in this truck series, especially these past 3 seasons where John has gone back to back to back in the championship. But we look at some of the other competition that's running well up front. I mean, if you look at good storylines of drivers that we were cheering for a chance to make the chase, Ali Fonseca, 4th place runner currently, that 24 machine, had one of the worst starts you could have asked for a season. Marched his way, it took him all the way to the last race 2 weeks ago at Las Vegas to make the chase. He got it done, and the 24 currently runs 4th. He's still waiting for that first lap lead, but Ali Fonseca's in a prime position where he could try to make a bounce out to the outside row or push Cody Reed further up and ditch him and go for a lap lead. There's opportunities for bonus points as that 24 will start in 4th. I mean, Zach, good storyline for Ollie. He's in the chase. He's in a good position here early in Talladega.
Yeah, this is exactly what Ali wants to do, is continue his good momentum, man. Ali has been on an excellent run. I'm really happy for Ali that this has been going like this for him, and hopefully Talladega doesn't end that streak of just really good positive momentum for him. So don't count that 24 out for the whole thing.
Well, pace car pulls off. You could say that kind of was like a stage, but there are no stage bonus points. There is no stage. We can go green all the way to the end if we can keep it neat and tidy. Let's find out if it's possible. John Forbes, Cody Reed, they're the top runners as we are green for the Dega Shootout 225 at Talladega in the inside row with the massive surge down in turn number 1.
That inside row got a heck of a restart, man. They are way out there for sure, doing a great job as Talmadge was able to really shove that 11, the 98 here now. Shelley also, but Cody Reed with the help of Fonseca, they're working their way back up as right now the field is very strung out.
It is very strong now, but I'm keeping my eyes out on some of those drivers deeper in the field that had to get a little bit of damage repair. That's Trent Jump, David Cochran, as well as Thomas Green and Nick Crawford. How much damage and how's that going to influence their race as they're deep in the field? But up front, we're starting to see 3 wide, already starting to merge for a quick moment, back in 7th position. As Samuel Garcia, Ethan Smith, huge wiggle for the 00 as he pushes the 50 machine to that 3rd row. No one's going to be assisting him. Garcia goes backwards. Will anyone try to work with them? Looks like it's not, and they'll stay side by side up for the lead position as Cody Reed leads that lap.
Cody Reed with a big move down that back straight was able to get around John Forbes. The 11 through a big block. The 25 said not today. He went around the outside and found that lead position, as now Forbes has found his way back to the back bumper of the 24. We'll see who can make the move next. Is like you said, Ethan Smith was finding his way up here, and it looks like it's going to be the 42 of Joshua Stove, the first one to make that 3rd lane and bounce high.
Bounces high, and he finds someone who's willing to move forward with them. That's Ethan Smith, who's been on that 3rd row, working with Thomas Green and Shelley earlier on in this race. Now you'll see John Forbes bounce to that 3rd row. Will up and take and go high. It looks like they'll stay in the middle lane, as it's 3 drivers on the outside groove, just showing the momentum. If you're willing to push, willing to use up a little bit of your engine temp, you can make that 3rd lane work, as it's Forbes, Stovall, as well as Malik Coots. Excuse me, I said that was Ethan Smith. That's actually Malik Coots in the 77. That's ripping the top and trying to move forward, as well as Thomas Green. That damage wasn't too bad. The 3 machine, as well as Trent Jump, the wounded vehicles are making the power move on that 3rd row.
Wow, some big moves being made in his own farther back. Actually, some disaster for a few as they're on the apron as they gather back up and keep it going. Hopefully won't lose the pack. But right now, Stove will making big moves on that bottom lane. The 77 Malik Coombs trying to make the outside work. It's only 3 trucks up there, but they're doing a great job to keep the momentum they need.
To see 2 of those 3 drivers that were involved with our first big wreck of the evening. This is great sights to know that Trent Jump, as well as Thomas Green, their vehicles are not completely out of it. That driver that we saw go down to the apron, that was TJ Calloway, as well as Michael Miller losing some slight time. They're still attached to the draft, but TJ Calloway's got to be careful as he's about a half a second off of the driver ahead of him, which is Miller. Up front, they're still 2 by 2 with a little bit of 3 wide. Malik Coots Gonna be that third driver on the outside row. Now we beat side by side with Ethan Smith. There's that 00 machine, as well as Cody Smith in the 7. Now Cody Smith entered tonight with the penalty at the end of the field, and the 7 trying to get his own, you can see, redemption run for himself. He's had some bad luck, bad moments captured here at Talladega. What a first time win that could be if somehow Cody Smith could find victory lane here tonight. And that's what we love about Talladega. Everyone's got a chance.
That's right, Sam. Everyone does have that chance. You know, you just got to be here on that lead lap and that final lap. You never know. They all could end up in disaster, as we've seen plenty of times before. That last lap, things can go very much sideways. So just stay in it here, and you never know. You might be a victory here tonight for the 7 of Cody Smith or some few others, maybe a Justin Forbes, someone like that. That would be an amazing underdog victory also. So we'll see who gets it done. But, Tyler Dingler actually had to dip out of the pack there a little bit. I think he had a little bit of a scare.
And that's what I'm noticing a lot. Is the exit of turn 2. Drivers are just not feeling comfortable with the transition. They come out of the air and they say, you know what, I'm just going to follow the back. And no one has officially lost the draft yet, even with Timmy Holloway's little bit of a scare. He was able to keep at pace with this lead pack and regroup back up. All 26 drivers within 1.7 seconds of one another. And you're seeing why. We are 2-3 wide everywhere throughout our top about 15 drivers, almost top 20 drivers, all in this top grouping. You see everyone else further on back from 21st on back, willing to just stay on the inside and just watch the chaos. You watch and you wait. Biggest thing, you wait to see if a wreck happens that you can react to it in time, as drivers up front, they're trying to enjoy themselves the best that they can. And Zach, racers always have a different mindset. Some are willing to be patient. Others, they have to lead. And we're seeing those that have to lead making these massive moves. They're kind of making me nervous every other lap because it just feels like the big one's about to strike again.
Yeah, it's a lot of risk. A lot of risk being taken right now from a few of them, especially with a lot to lose. So it's, it's an interesting choice. And, I mean, hey, some people, like you said, play it differently. So it is definitely so far bit a few. Ryan Ferrari, bit sort of, to be precise, has bit them being caught up in the wrecks. But, sometimes the drivers that, are the ones making the big moves aren't the ones getting caught up in it. It's more or less like the drivers that are behind them sometimes do. So sometimes it's better to be at that front end of the field making those moves.
Down everywhere you can go, and it's Joshua Stovall, winner from last season. Season 7, led the most laps, got into victory lane with big help from Michael Miller. 42, hoping to go back-to-back at Talladega from last season to this season, if possible. Other drivers of note in the middle of the pack. You've got Season 1 winner of this race, Dakota Moniz, currently running in 13th position. I'm curious on what Dakota might bring for the 5 machine. I know he's been wanting to win. These super speedway tracks are his best opportunities to do so. It could be a huge change in momentum, as he's had just what it feels like terrible luck almost every week we see that 5 run, but he lingers right behind that 74 of Nick Crawford of the 50 machine. Samuel Garcia behind him as well on the inside. Where will the 5 go? Will he be a big assistance, or is he going to be selfish and go for his own winning ways here tonight? Going to be big questions, as seen 3 wide gets Cody Smith, Thomas Green, both going to be on the outside groove. Zach, they continue to race on as 1/3 of tonight's race is over, as we are about to start lap 32.
They're doing a great job right now, just putting the laps down. And Cody Smith, Stovall!
Stovall into the outside, and just like that, the 42. I mean, that was a move that you don't expect to see. And wiggle and a pop, and now it's going to be the 7 getting some help by the 2, and they just keep racing on. And what a bizarre moment. I don't know if we can go back and see a replay of that incident, but that was just a bizarre timing of Stovall pushed to the outside, and Zach, it just, for that 42 machine, luckily he's still with the second pack, but disaster again for another chase driver.
Yeah, that was 7 there. I don't know if he just didn't get the memo that 42 was going to try to stay in front of him there, because 42 here is, going to come out of the corner here. He's going to be running this second group, but he's going to get the 25 Cody Reed here to show the door on him. He's going to go to throw the block. Guess what? Reed says, nope, I'm going low to take that spot. So Stovall says, okay, I'll go high, run this top group. And the 7 says, boom, boom, right into the rear bumper. And I mean, he lifted. You've seen actually the tailpipe there with the flame coming out of it. That means the raw fuel was unburned there. And yeah, I'll tell you what, he lifted, but it just wasn't in time.
It wasn't in time, and I think the issue was he was in that delayed motion of, do I pass this 42 or do I push him? And with that hesitation, he did both. He wiped out the 42 and then also passed and gave a bad bump in that situation. We're back to live footage where that 42 is back into the mix on the outside. Not the worst damage, it seems like. His race isn't over just yet. But that 7 Cody Smith's got to be careful, as you know, those Snowball fans, they are not kind to seeing that type of an issue happen. As more drivers, they see a hole, they're going to take it on the inside.
That was wild scenes, but I mean, great hands by Joshua Stovall to hang on to that thing. That could have been race over like Vincent Sora had there just earlier from his wreck. So pretty similar situations, you know, getting clipped in the rear end bumper. But oh man, John Forbes wiggling there. So he's got the 46 turn jump there on that back bumper. His big moves are being made as Stovall there. The 42 jumping back to the inside is now Eric Stamp going to jump up to the second lane. He wants to try to take a chance at his lead.
You can choose where you want to go, and a lot of these drivers, they're basing in their mirrors. Maybe they're getting communicated by their teammates of, hey, we're seeing a run in this direction. Take this hole, go forward. We're seeing everyone with aggressive passing and darting moves. And, you know, you'd rather, Zach, I mean, are you looking for someone to be darting as quickly as we've been seeing? Or would you rather see someone slowly move over? Which one would be preferred when you're seeing this type of racing?
You know, sometimes hesitation can be the worst. When some people move slow, it can make things bad. But sometimes when they move fast, it can kind of, you know, be a little bit catch you off guard and kind of make you react. So it is one of those weird situations where you kind of want someone to do a medium speed, I'd say, and kind of, you know, not wait too long to hesitate to make a move, but don't be too fast with it because you might spook some of the others around you. But it's definitely a decision that you got to make, and sometimes the moves have to be lightning fast if you're going to make it, because if not, those holes close and wrecks happen.
We are currently 11 laps. It's going to be now 12 into this run. Green flag racing. We've had a couple of spooks and scares, and nobody has lost the draft completely just yet. And I think that's the one thing I'm kind of intrigued by. So we've got a couple of stragglers of drivers that are giving plenty of space to one another. I think they're kind of starting to sense what we're sensing of up front drivers are getting antsy once again. We're getting close to that same realm. It was 19 laps into our first green flag run. We had our first caution. We're just about 3 to 4 laps away from that similar zone of green flag racing again. Those drivers are sensing a big one might be striking, but I mean, with no one losing the draft completely yet, I'm surprised, even with all the damage repair we've seen just from that first big one.
I completely agree. Yeah, everybody's completely up to speed. Nobody has really lost speed. I mean, other than Ferrara and Vincent Soro, it just seems like everybody else kind of moved on like it was almost like a stage, you know. And you got what you got, and now you're able to stick together. So we'll see how even that caution even can affect maybe even the strategy a little bit tonight. Will that play out any differently, or will, you know, they have no real effect? We'll just have to see. But right now, everybody doing a great job and trying to manage and just put down the laps, because really all you can do at a plate track like this is continue to put laps down and just make sure to survive.
Eric Stamp trying to be the control vehicle, controlling multiple different lanes. Sees one lane pushing far enough forward, and once he sees movement, tries to dart to the outside or inside. Run on the third lane, and in a sense of how close some of these drivers get to one another, close to the wall, as we're going 193 miles per hour into these corners. At some lowest moment, maybe 185 to 83 miles per hour is the slowest that we're seeing on pace. They continue to just rattle off lap after lap, just inches away from one another. And it's the worry of who makes a mistake, who's willing to make a big wiggle. We saw there of drivers not being aligned. That brought out our first caution of the day. But Zach, what are other ways that drivers could make mistakes here tonight, or ways to avoid mistakes here this evening from causing another big one?
Well, a lot of times it's wandering and, you know, just making a decision maybe to follow someone when you're not clear. So you got to, again, stick to your lane. I think that's the number one thing. Stick to your lane. Make sure you're clear when you make moves, and do not make anybody mad, because if you get bad in super speedways, things can go bad too there. It's just like a short track, guess what? Because you're going to be grouped up with them the whole race. So I think that's another thing. Make your friends, don't make enemies out here, because that can really help you, especially not only going for the win, but staying out of trouble later. So someone that puts you in a detrimental situation is right now we ride on board with this 97 Justin Forbes on this top lane here, trying to find their way forward here with the momentum. But I think that third lane's starting to form up on their outside now.
Third lane's trying to build up, and as we kind of see that top left here of the drivers trying to get to the outside as we ride on board with the Gridless Graphics owner and painter. It's Justin Forbes, brother of John Forbes. We've seen over this past year really try to grow into his own driver, as went from inexperienced to now bracing up front. In his first couple of super speedway races that we've covered, this 97 would not be in this position. He would be in the back. He would be in survival mode. But now, third car on the outside, a crucial position for himself here. Zach, I mean, being third driver in line, there's a lot of pressure to run close, but not too close to the driver ahead of you.
That's it, right. The age-old saying, don't push the pusher, as they would say. So it's very important to do that, because if you're shoving that guy that is shoving the person ahead of them, they don't really have control of how hard they're shoving that person. You know, it's really coming down to you, and you can't see what the person ahead of them is doing and what they need and how much of a push they can take. So it's really on that third truck to be close, but not be too close. You do not want to be running over that second place driver, because that is where issues really will show up.
Seeing other drivers beating and banging. There's Dakota Moniz talking about when is he going to be emerging forward. He'll be pushing Trenton Jump in the third lane. Will's Cody Smith back into the mix on that third groove. Drivers bobbing and weaving deeper in the middle of this pack. A couple of drivers, though, that we haven't really touched on a lot that did not grab extensive damage from the wreck, as up front they're still going to stay 3-1. We'll keep our cameras up here watching up front. But a couple of drivers further on back that are kind of in rest mode. We've even seen it in the chat of people cheering them on and hoping for a good run. You got TJ Callaway in 26th. You've got Mark Morales back in 25th. And then you've got some championship contenders that are in the chase. Joshua Kanata, Noah Steele, as well as Joshua Stovall run 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. They're all in single file on the inside, just waiting for whenever things go wrong with the three wide issues that we've seen here tonight. They continue to give space. For how long is going to be the true question.
That's the thing. I really like the call from them to ride back there and be safe, lad, because there's no points being paid right now for racing. You can go out here and pass every single truck as many times as you want, but there's no extra point for doing that. I mean, you will get a point for leading a lap. Yes, that is valuable to have that extra point. But if you're not going for that, there's really not a reason to be risking really too much, especially if you're in these playoffs here this late, this early in the race. There is so much time to go. As long as you stay grouped up this pack, get through pit stops, you will have an opportunity to fight back forward for a victory later, and that is where the points are scored, not here at lap 43.
Field continues to stay side by side, looking at other drivers that are kind of lingering in the middle of this field. We haven't really touched on a lot here tonight. Danny Cochran, he's now up to 11th position. Ethan Smith, again, driver in line in the middle of the group. He's been trying to have a good run. But Nico Garcia in that 78 runs with Danny Cochran behind him in that middle groove. Kind of just, you're stuck in your box. There's nowhere really you can go if you're Garcia, but missed out on Las Vegas. Could have had a chance to try to race to get into the chase. Not able to do so, but it's great to see Nico still out on track as a non-chase contender. There's so much pressure on those drivers too, but also so much freedom when you're not in the chase or worrying about a championship.
Oh, for sure. You have that ability to kind of make moves at will and not have any risk. You know, if you're not racing for that championship, you can just kind of go in and go, oh, I'm just going for the win, and if we wreck, it's checkers or records out here. So I think if you're someone like a Garcia, a Justin Forbes, you know, go out there and just try everything. You might as well. There's nothing to lose for you tonight, and I think those should be the drivers that should be the ones that are being really aggressive at this point and trying to, you know, use that carefree ability.
I think that's why we were kind of shocked that he was the front runners that were the chase drivers in the first 19 laps of this race. That brought out our big one with how aggressive they were, knowing that they were high risk. Drivers were taking here in the early going. As drivers cross the line, we're on lap 45. We're on now on the halfway zone of tonight's race. We've had a lot of big movers that have been going up and down the leaderboard. Currently, one of our biggest movers right now is going to be the 97 machine, as well as the 00. They've been swapping back and forth for our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover of the day. We're going to be giving it, though, to the 00, Ethan Smith, currently at the... Oh, no! Big one strikes in the middle of 3 and 4 as we look at our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover. It's the biggest wreck that we might be seeing as they're still piling in off the exit of the corner.
Oh, man. The timing on that one right there, but that was disaster. Oh, Danny Cochran blew up in the pack.
Danny Cochran, teammate of Vincent Sora, trouble for the 2, and just gave too much, and it all goes wrong. Taking out multiple chase contenders, gets Trent jump. Ethan Smith, Ollie Fonseca gets piled in, and it just continues to trickle more and more. There's Ethan Smith with a big spin after the fact, and the 2 of Danny Cochran's night is done. Question then looms of who else will be joining with him, as it looks like Ethan Smith as well, who is looking to be one of our biggest movers, as he is battling with Justin Smith. His night over as well. Required damage for that 00.
Oh, heavy damage for a lot of these guys. And man, that was it's just a mental lapse there, in my opinion. You know how close you get on your temperatures. You got to know all those things when it comes to these tracks, and when you're in that situation, you got to be able to get out of there, or at least call out to people, hey, I'm on fire, I need to get some air. And I don't know if you just didn't realize it. I mean, right there, just to the left of him, trying to maybe get some air, but it just never cooled off in time, and just pushed it too much there, Sam.
It just was past critical. He was trying his best to get clean air in that radiator and into the vents, but there just was not enough time to cool off the temps, went overboard, and it collects multiple other drivers, as now the 2 is out of this thing. He'll be joining his teammate Vincent Sora with calling it a night. Ethan Smith might be joining them in the garage, but this also gives the field an opportunity to get into pit road and get some service done. And with this caution, also gives us a chance to step aside, as we will come back. More great racing action here at Talladega for the ISRC Linear Productions Truck Series. It's the first of 5 races in the chase. First race here tonight, it's the Dega Shootout 250. We got more great racing action to give you, as we will be back right after this for more Talladega racing. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Monday night. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. Running productions in the background is Robert Moyer Jr., as we also are giving you the coverage of the ISRC Linear Productions Truck Series Season 8. Got some chase racing action. First of 5 chase races to see who we will crown as the Season 8 champion. Tonight's race is the Dega Shootout 250, excuse me, as these drivers here tonight. We've had 2 big ones so far, and it cycles right around that middle zone of tonight's race. Zach, with these drivers now, we're now have 4 drivers out. Danny Cochran, who just was a late entry with Alan Elwood being removed from the chase as he was not able to continue racing for the rest of the playoffs. He awarded his position to the next driver in line, which was the 2. He's out of this race. He'll take 25th points. Then you've got Ethan Smith out of this race. Ryan Ferraro's out of this race. And then the big shocker, Vincent Sora is out. He will take 28th position points. Everyone else still out on track, with Cody Smith 1 lap down, banking on a caution.
Been some big implications so far in this race for sure, Sam, and it's gonna be wild to see how it all shakes up once we get to that checkered flag. But right now, Jared Talmadge, the one thing I will say is he has been very good at keeping himself up front and just being in the mix and qualifying on pole and leading a lot of laps here. So Jared doing exactly what he needs to do, and no surprise, I mean, a winner earlier this season at Daytona.
One Daytona, he's got his teammate of Isaac Shelley trolling on the outside as they continue to pressure forward. Eric Stamp, I mean, I think my biggest surprise driver that it continues to stay up front. Eric Stamp, Justin Forbes, they've kept their nose out of trouble and they continue to stay up front. And Stamp, one of the more aggressive non-playoff drivers who continues this fight up front. You've got Ollie Fonseca going to be on the outside groove, trying to push Shelley along, and also starting to see some movement back in that 3rd lane. Of course, it would be him to the 3rd. It's going to be Joshua Stovall once again trying to woo a group of drivers to battle up in this lead position.
That he is. Joshua Stovall always trying to go forward, make that 3rd lane happen, and he does a good job of it, man. Right now, he's got that help from the 45, I believe. Justin Smith they're going to try their best here to work it. Now look at Ollie Fonseca. He's going to leave Isaac Shelley in the middle, and he's going to jump up to the top here, and he's going to now have that momentum from the 42. Look at the 24 here. He's going to have the lead down the back straightaway and transition all the way from the top to the bottom.
From the top to the bottom, and Fonseca leads for now, not for long, as going to be seen Stovall as well as Talmadge. Big runs mounting up as the 24 keeps the nose ahead. Thought we were going to see maybe a bigger surge from that 3rd lane after Fonseca getting out of the way. Not going to be the full case, but as they cross the line, Fonseca, Talmadge gets tall. It's going to be Fonseca leading that lap with a big push from the 27.
Big push, yeah, from that 27. Yeah, I thought that outside line was going to work well, but Talmadge did a great job of pushing that 24. Getting that inside lane going is immediately, as I say that, the 27 did jump out there, and he's going to make the move to the middle lane there in front of teammate Isaac Shelley and try to make this pass here down the back straightaway, but looks like he'll stick with his teammate for the time being, is now going to slide to the bottom.
Now trying to figure out and reassess which drivers that have collected damage. Those that are racing up front, maybe for the first time this evening. You saw the purple machine of the 45 on Justin Smith, who's trying to be second car on the outside, just didn't give a clean push. And I think this is that time of the race, Zach, where it's your last, you could say, auditions to prove that you're a driver that you can be trusted to be around. Because if you don't prove yourself to the competition at this point of the race, you're not going to be trusted later on when it's the most crucial. And I think that move that we just saw from Justin Smith might have been a little bit of failure in his audition. He might need it proved for another big push, but he is someone that you can trust later on in this race.
That's for sure, yeah. You definitely got to get those auditions going in pretty quickly, because when you get down to really that final 20 laps of this race, you're going to be saying, I really got to find my dancing partner, so to say, and really know who I want to work with. And you're going to make those decisions much quicker than right now, where you're willing to work probably a little bit more with somebody as Isaac Shelley making the big move. He's going to bounce to the top in front of John Forbes, and he should lead this lap, as I say that, and he will.
Will lead that lap for the 98 machine. Isaac Shelley carrying on his momentum. Probably the two hottest drivers, if you look at how their pace has been, getting into victory lane, they lead 1-2. Shelley coming off his win last week at the All-Star Fiesta Bristol. Fun non-points race as there was money on the line and Shelley took a little bit of it. Also a driver who took money has been on a roll in the points races. John Forbes runs in second position, but we're looking at Ollie Fonseca, a little bit of a squeeze going around as Logan Brakey as well as Justin Forbes run on the inside, just trying to find any momentum to go forward as Snowball re-emerged back into this mix.
It does. This is getting to be single or double file for the time being as everybody's trying to find their feeding and get in position. And this is a great time here for Thomas Green because I was very worried that last wreck we just had, Thomas Green was involved in that and actually had a quite sizable amount of damage on the front nose. And look at this, he's able to lead this race. That tells me that truck should be in a good condition. So Thomas Green in a very a good spot after being involved in that wreck.
Yeah, and we just got a report on the fact of even with that big scrape and contact with Cody Smith and Joshua Stovall, Stovall got no damage from that incident. He actually was completely fine. That's why he was able to keep with the draft, continue racing on, as the 42 is still trying to find anyone willing to work with them and make that third lane work once again. But everyone has been trying to find their footing. The big thing it's weird to see, but with all those big wrecks, we've only seen just a couple of drivers out of this race. The previous updates on iRacing, the previous very fragile trucks machine, we would have said almost all those drivers that had contact were done. There was no recovery. There are about 5 to 8 drivers that I felt like should have been out of this race that are still having winning trucks out there on track.
It really is wild to see how well some of these trucks have been repaired, and you know it's very, very good to see that because that gives us more trucks to battle for that win. And right now 23 of them still out there on the lead lap and still on this lead group. So really it's just other than the 7 of Cody Smith, who is 2 laps down and pretty hurt out there damage wise. It's 23 healthy trucks that have a full advantage still to win this race. And we'll see though, because right now we're getting about 12 laps into this stint here already. I'm going to be interested to see how does this work out strategy wise. How far can they make it? Can they change this race into a one-stop run?
I mean, we have the caution halfway of this race. It makes sense that you could transform this race into a one-stop from here if we stay clean and green. That's the tough portion, is staying green until we can make those green flag pit stops. But looking at all the drivers and where they run currently, again, 2 of our chase contenders lingering in the back. That's been Joshua Kanata and Noah Steele. They have been just staying in the back, waiting for their time to pounce. And to be this patient 58 laps in and just be content to run in the back after seeing all the contacts have been happening, I'm curious on when the go button's going to hit for those drivers to attempt to get up front. As here's some more sliding and passing being done as Ollie Fonseca going to try to get some help from Nick Crawford. Dakota Moniz also going to get in line as the middle group trying to put the pressure on as there's the big wiggle to the apron off of 2.
The patience is impressive, definitely, from the drivers out back there, still riding along. And, I think they will definitely turn up the wick at some point. I think they want to get to that final stop, get to that green flag final stop of this race. And once you get that done, you will be, I think, in position to try to go up there and fight. The biggest key, though, is get through the green flag stop nice, clean, and fast, because that is where you can gain seconds of time on your competition. So that is really, I think, our make or break point here. If anything, right now it's just all about getting the laps done for these drivers and getting to that stop, because that will be, I think, the point that really puts the cream to the top.
There's the Barbie machine of Tyler Diller trying to make his way forward, kind of just lingering on the outside, keeping attached with the draft of the drivers ahead of him, but also having a little bit of help with those to the inside groove. Here is the number 8 machine of Noah Steele. Noah entering tonight as the man of steel. 8 out of 10 confidence level entering into the chase. He started every race so far this season, had 1 pole, 3 top 10s, but the big stat line that made him the biggest underdog entering tonight no top fives for Noah Steele. He's won in the past. He won at Auto Club back at season 4. Since then, this 8 has just been trying to refine speed to be challenging up front. And this season, he'll take the fact that he made the chase, but now it's time to prove that why you are here. As you move over to the 18 machine, TJ Calloway has had a couple of fans out in the chat root for this 18 who's been lingering last of the line and has been flirting with losing the draft, but continues to stay attached. When will this Alabama machine, the Crimson Tide, finally make the push forward? That's going to be a good question for us to continue to linger on. But Zach, when we talk about consistency, ever since he stepped foot in the ISRC Truck Series, Joshua Kanata, he still lingers in the back as well.
Yeah, Kanata has been very, very consistent. He is the one driver I am not surprised is back here. Kanata always, I think, races more with his head than anything. So he is going to be back here, I think, playing the safe game, playing the long game, knowing there ain't nothing to gain right now, I think, for Joshua. He says, you know, I'm going to try to make this work at the end, and you never know. He could be there right at the end of the season to steal a victory. So that could very well possibly play out because he's done it before here.
And also, you know, talking about thinking big picture, Kanata for his team, for the teammates of Cannon Fire Racing, it's Cody Rio, Joshua Kanata, Nick Crawford, Ollie Fonseca, tagging along is Tyler Dangler in that group. He's the math guy. He's figuring out the fuel window. He's figuring out when the pit stops are going to happen. I know him as well as Nick Crawford kind of butt heads at moments of different strategies because Crawford is known for his whimsical different strategies compared to those that usually go with the traditional strategies. But I love the fact that you've got two dynamics on that team that try to figure out the perfect strategy at the end of the race.
It is awesome to see that. You know, it's like two head coaches on the team trying to make their play calls late in the game. And yeah, it's, you know, it's going to clash sometimes, but I think you want to have that one guy that's calm, cool, and collected back there kind of calculating things like Kanata, and then have the guy that kind of thinks off-the-wall things like Nick Crawford. It really can open up new ideas and maybe even change that classical strategy into a little bit of an alteration of that, you know, different strategy. So it's really cool to see that dynamic. And the big thing I think for that group is they're all in this pack still, and if they can pit together, they're going to be a dynamic group to watch at the end.
Other teammates that are out there racing as a group, you got 9 Dime Motorsports, that's Cody Smith, Justin Smith, and Malik Kuntz. I know for Malik as well, for Justin Smith, they're trying to figure out how they want to push forward. It seems like for Justin, he is dedicated with the 42 Stovall. They want this outside lane to work, and that's what we're seeing right now. Big power moves on the outside. Also going to be seeing other drivers trying to move their way forward. One of those going to be the 99 of Michael Miller, who's on the back bumper of the 42 of Stovall. And Zach, that was the duo. They had their flaws at times last season here at Talladega, but when it was the 42 and the 99 latched on together, they always went forward, and that's what allowed Stovall to win last season. And they finally, for the first time here tonight, are in line with one another. And a green flag pit stops into pit road. It's going to be seeing the likes of Planet Sim as well as a little bit of Armadillo drivers all coming into pit road on lap 64.
It's like everybody comes into pit road clean too. No black flags. Great job, everybody getting woed up, and no surprise. Sometimes you want to be the first group really to hit pit road, and it seems like that was the call from this grouping here. Is we'll see how they get in their boxes and what do they do. Do we see a full can of fuel with 4 tires, or do we see 2 tires or no tires here? It looks like they're going to jack up at least the rights.
At least the rights, and the main reason why, the amount of fuel you're taking in. You also can take tires. Majority of the time, though, you don't take tires when you make green flag pit stops. Taking the gamble, they're going to be side by side. This was a big practice point for drivers for that 1-hour practice period you're given before qualifying, where drivers were trying to maximize their speed getting into pit road. As this front group, yes, they made the pit stop. A lot of drivers in the middle of this pack didn't lose too much time. Even with that pit stop being made, how do you want to tackle and go? Is Isaac Shelley going to be the first driver taking off and going? As well as we'll have Thomas Green, Noah Steele, Eric Stamp, John Forbes, all in this group that just got done pitting. No one caught with speeding penalties, but there are 2 drivers I'm concerned about losing the draft. One of those being Justin Forbes. He needs to get up to speed quickly if he wants to stay with the draft of the group that first pitted. As we keep our eyes on this lead group, they're single filing up. That's a sign pit road is about to be calling for some of these drivers in our front pack.
that it will. I think if anything, you don't want to let that other group get too grouped up and maybe run too fast to pull away from you, because this is going to be a critical time here to watch really how the lap times play out. Does that first group that just pitted there run faster than this group? Because if they do run faster than this group, they'll put time on them. That's the whole goal of these different opposite strategies, is to get the groupings separated and be able to produce quicker speeds. But we'll see which group is more organized, because usually organization is the key to speed.
Trying to get up to speed is that second pack. That last lap, they did run slightly slower, but they were still ramping up and getting to full song. This current lap that we're about to put down will give us a much clearer picture of where drivers loom. There is a difference of 42.2 seconds from Isaac Shelley in 16th to Samuel Garcia, who leads this race. Now, this lead pack isn't getting helped at all with the fact of seeing Stovall and Miller on the outside. That side drafting is hurting in speed just slightly, but Stovall and Miller continue to press forward, and this is quite impressive on the fact that they've stayed side by side with the lead group for this long, as the leaders put down a 50.958 second lap time. We wait for that second pack, and it looks like, based off the previous lap, they're running faster. Is that second group?
Oh, they're running a lot faster here, and this next time around, they're going to be in the 49-second bracket this next time here, possibly even. So they're losing time up front. If you ain't coming to pit road here soon, this second group is going to be, or this first group is going to be so far ahead as Stovall there makes the big jump to the bottom there and leaves the 99 Michael Miller out of the drive. But they kind of had to do this, because if they don't get lined up and quit this second line, now I think you had to pit if anything.
Oh no! It's the whole pack. They're all going into pit road. 3 stay out. Multiple drivers contact into pit road. Some go into the grass. Some stay out for an extra lap. And this front pack, they just throw it all the way. The second group looks primed and pristine, as the drivers that stayed out, that is going to be Stovall, Miller, Garcia. Big loss of time for themselves. Everyone in that group that just pitted. Oh, disaster. There are about 4 or 5 drivers that all piled in and were making major contact into one another. Luckily, no black flags, but major loss of time.
Definitely a major loss of time here. And this is that second. This will be a second look here at it. And the 18 at TJ Callaway, we're going to see here. He's going to be one that ends up the horse. Oh, and I think actually
he
the
locked it up.
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's Logan Brakey, who went into the grass as well. This almost brought out a caution. And also another report, 45, of Justin Smith leaving pit road, caught speeding. He has to go back into pit road.
Tough break for Justin Smith there. Yeah, we're getting that word there on that. Is now it's going to be Stovall in the 42 coming to pit road. And that lap there was going very, very slow, because he was all by himself pretty much. So that 42 really left out there by himself, and we'll see how this cycles now with these other drivers, because here comes Shelley along with the many other, and they have already jumped that first group that pitted and put a good little distance already on them.
Blitzing on by and pressing forward is Isaac Shelley and co. Stovall's already being passed before he even got to start finish line. Everyone else, Garcia's being passed in the center of the corner. He will miss out on the draft of this first group. It's Miller. If he can somehow get up to speed, he might be able to latch on to the end of this group, but it's all going to be seeing the driver of the 98 Shelley leading this pack with 30 laps to go. It's looking in complete control with those drivers up front. That's pack that pitted last, second to last. They were so split up. Some drivers were okay, and they were able to latch on board with Shelley and Forbes in that group, while about 6 or 7 are just riddled across the track with how much time they lost.
That was literally the make or break for everybody right there, pit road. And it just shows you how important everything is. Now we're going to have 13 trucks in this lead group from Trenton Jump to Thomas Green. These 13 will have a shot for victory if we stay green. If anything, that next grouping of trucks that will be formed up will be all the way around the 16, or really about 8 seconds back from that group. So huge chunks of time.
Well, for those fan favorites that have been rooting for their drivers out in chat, I know Ethan Smith's fans, they're upset with Ethan Smith out of this race. TJ Callaway fan that's been out there rooting for the 18. Steven, we got some bad news. We saw the spin out by the 18. He is currently about to go 1 lap down, and in the next 2 to 3 laps as he runs currently in 21st position. For you Stovall fans, worst thing you could have asked for was the fact that he didn't pit with that lead group when they all came in as a huge pack. Double on it, he took 4 tires and fueled Zach. He lost even more time with pit road.
Yeah, he is 10 seconds back from these racers. He needs a yellow flag, if anything, to get back in this. There is no chance for those drivers to run down this group from that far back in this amount of time. So we'll see what happens. I don't I wouldn't say a yellow flag is guaranteed, but it is definitely a huge possibility here at Talladega because we're going to get wild here coming down to the end. Everybody's going to be throwing big blocks. If you think they were big earlier, they're going to be egregious now.
And update on Michael Miller, he did lose the draft. He is now currently 4 seconds off the leader, 3.5 seconds off of Trent Jump, who is the last car in line. Trent Jump, though, can at least take one positive away. First driver 1 lap down, and attached to this lead pack is Trent Jump's teammate of Logan Brakey. So you got a teammate. He's 1 lap down, not going to be racing for position, but can assist you if we get later in this run. We are clocking down these final laps, the final push. Who's going to make the big moves? This could be one of those final chances, Zach, where you want to place yourself in a position to be up ahead, or a position where if you have enough allies, you guys can dart to the outside and go for a big pass. If you're up front, if you're an Eric Stamp, a Jared Talmadge, what's rattling in your brain right now as we're coming up to 17 laps to go?
I think if you're Eric Stamp, you're trying to think who is going to work with me here, because you see the likes of Jared Talmadge, you see the likes of Thomas Green, you see the likes of Isaac Shelley. Those 3 are teammates, so they're going to work together. We know John Ford's most likely going to be working with that group also, so throw them guys in together, lump them in there, maybe throw Justin Forbes there because he's in this front group too. So you're going to have a big group of them there. If I'm Eric Stamp, I'm looking for my friends here, and I'm trying to find a group that I can match up with. Maybe he'll be able to work that Cannon Fire Racing team, as they've got a few 3 of them up in this mix. But it's going to be very much finding your friends, I think, coming down here at the end. And then that last lap comes down, it's going to be fighting for yourself.
Talking about first-time winners, how that has happened 4 times out of the last 5 times that we've raced here at Talladega. Back in Season 1, Season 2, Season 5, and last season, it was all first-time winners. Dakota Moniz won back in Season 1. Season 2, it was John McAdams. Then we saw Joshua Kanata grab his first career win in the Truck Series back in Season 5. And last season, it took almost all season, but he finally got it done, of Stovall getting to victory lane. You look at those that are in this lead pack. The 91 of Martin Morales has had plenty of chances, but he will now be the lead driver on that inside group. The 91 hoping for another chance to get into victory lane. He missed out at Las Vegas a few seasons ago. Thought maybe he had the speed at Las Vegas 2 weeks ago, but just didn't have the pitch strategy that aligned him into victory lane. Here tonight could be his first-time winner. Other first-time winners in this lead pack, you've got yourselves a Justin Forbes, Nico Garcia. They know that there is a chance to get crowned a victor in the ISRC Truck Series, but it's very tough when you have all the chase competition also surrounding you.
That's for sure. I think, if anything, those drivers just need to put caution to the wind and just go for it, because guess what? There's nothing for them to lose, of course. Is now John Ford's big move to the outside for him. He wants to possibly take control of the race. Isaac Shelley shuts that door, says, nope, I want to control it. Is now Talmadge is going to have the advantage on the bottom. Can he get the push, though, to push him forward?
Some other drivers that are attaching onto this pack and want to maybe mix things up. Driver that's 1 lap down, fighting for the Lucky Dog or the Lucky Dilla Award, TJ Calloway and Logan Brakey fighting in the back half of this group. But up front, Shelley, Forbes, where do you go? Now bouncing to that 3rd lane, hoping for some speed is going to be Thomas Green, but he's got no allies. All of his allies are in that inside group. The 3 could be falling backwards unless somebody wants to attach to that outside, and that's Justin Forbes that's going to be trying to help the 3 get back into this fight.
Everybody trying to gather up their groupings here as Forbes was able to keep Thomas Green in that battle here, so to say. But right now, Isaac Shelley controlling the way on the bottom side with the help of his teammate Jared Talmadge. But Eric Stamp there looking to the outside of the 11 for just a moment, maybe to get a little air for a big push here down the back or down the front straightaway here, as they're going to be coming this next time by here to 13 laps to go.
Shelly, big bump, wiggles him out of the way. Stamp's got to go up to the third groove with all the movement that was happening. The 53 will fall to the back. Big help for the 53. He's got allies. He's got friends. It is Armadillo Motorsports that just lingers in the back that you could be helping with if you're this 53. Or if you're the 53, you could help trend jump your teammate with the championship if you can get him moving forward. But up front, it is a lot of dominance from the top teams, from the top drivers this season. Forbes, Fonseca, Talmadge, Shelley, they have been the top drivers, top teams. You've got Cannon Fire, you've got yourself, the Cochran Sora Forbes racing team, and you also have Planet Sim Racing, all in control, all looking for some friends, and a couple of allies, assistances are all around as well, as Mark Morales trying to help this bottom group, but Ollie Fonseca with the big dive to the third lane. Let's go 3 wide, battling for 5th place as we're coming up to 12 laps to go.
This is only going to get more and more aggressive right here. This is going to be fantastic stuff. John Ford's now bouncing to the top side to jump in front of the 24. Oh, that was close. 24 for a second looked like he was going to get up in the wall with how close the 11 and him were there. But the top side dying out here is now Garcia in the 46 Trent jump coming through the middle as the inside is prevailing. And they're starting to catch up to lap traffic up here who could play possibly a factor as it looks like the likes of Malik Coots here.
That's Malik Coots, Justin Forbes, 9 Dime Motorsports that kind of did not have the best pit stop they were hoping for, now in danger of going a lap down. We'll see where those 2 trucks go. Will they stay on the inside? Will they go to the apron? As they go through the tri-oval, they might get caught here. Could be through the center of the corner. Now, these trucks can run on the apron through the corner, but the question is, does lap traffic stay low on the track surface or they go to the apron? They stay on the surface. It's time to squeeze. We might go 2 wide further on back. They're trying to give spacing and perfectly aligned. We'll go 3 wide for a quick moment as drivers are slicing over the lap cars. And Zach, it's one of those moments where you prefer lap traffic to get out of the way, but they have the right to stay on the track.
That's exactly right, Sam. Yeah, they have every right to stay on that track, and it's definitely shaking things up now as Cody Reed, he's found his way to the bottom of the wreck.
Callaway gets spun around, and the big one strikes. Driver upside down, now back on their feet. And the field sees the wreck, and Forbes involved, Steele involved, and that second pack gets the caution they needed.
Oh, man, the way this has just changed the whole scheme of this race is going to be very, very important to the whole, picture of this season. But that was wild there. I'm not really sure exactly how that all played out, but I think it was a little bit of contact from, I believe, the 97 of Justin Forbes and the 18 of Callaway there is that definitely just all came to shove there.
Just as squeezed 4 wide, it looked like, as they were entering into turn 3 and attempting a big move. You're going to see it here. All the way, Justin Forbes, contact, putting jump out into the outside wall. Callaway almost goes tumbling around, but it's Forbes Steele. Hard contact for the both of them. Required damage, blown engine for Noah Steele. He'll now go to pit road, and Callaway, I mean, that truck with all the damage that was accrued, it looks totally fine, even with going into the outside wall.
I mean, I guess, taking off and flying here helped him a little bit, got him up out of that wall a little bit to keep the damage is not as bad. But yeah, and somehow, for a truck that was flying in the air for one moment, it doesn't look nearly as bad as what you would think.
It's a kind of a coin toss tonight on who's getting a blown engine, who's getting a broken toe length, and who's just giving away with maybe just a couple of minutes of damage. And it looks like for a few, they will skate away from that damage. Now, with TJ Callaway involved with that wreck, he will not get the Lucky Dill Award. I believe the Lucky Dill Award will be given to the 77 of Malik Coots. Congratulations to that 77 machine from the 9 Dime Motorsports team. So, they were going to put a lap down. It assists the 77 to stay on the lead lap.
That is huge there for Malik. Give him an opportunity possibly to go out here and see if he can go win this race too. So he's going to be willing to risk it all here as he's got nothing to lose. But Talmadge right now in the lead, Shelley up to second, and I think those teammates have been working good all night. They'll be looking for their other teammate Thomas Green to possibly get up there.
And what you saw there, the 77 getting past the pace car and will officially get your Lucky Dilla Award. Again, thank you so much to all the sponsors that help out throughout this season for the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series. First and foremost, title sponsor, Lariat Productions. If you're looking for great comedy, fun laughs throughout the day, Well, go check out the great reviews and skits from Larry Art Productions on Instagram as well on YouTube. Just look up Larry Arts Production for those great content to enjoy. Also, if you're looking for car diecasts or you're just looking for fun reviews on racing or topics about racing, go check out Morecast. That's MOAR Cast. All together as one. Thank you so much to Morecast, who also is the primary sponsor of the Morecast 5, which is money races that go on throughout the season. We've got our Lucky Dill Award that Malik Kuntz just got awarded. That sponsor is by the Armadillo Motorsports team, who tried to escape away from that incident as cleanly as they could, but sadly Trenton Jump involved with that wreck. He's got to deal with that damage. He'll try to fight forward. Eric Stamp luckily escaped away from the wreck, so he'll get 4 tires and fuel and get moving out there on track. And the last couple of sponsors we want to say thank you to, that's Gridless Graphics, who's going to be our white flag sponsor. That is Justin Forbes, who sadly heavily involved with that last wreck. And as well, I want to say thank you from our camera providers helping us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, Whiplash SimCams. Go check out Whiplash SimCams today on different cameras packages that you can figure out for broadcasting or taking photos. They've got you covered at Whiplash SimCams. Zach, we're getting to the final push, the kids say the final shootout of tonight's race. Less than 10 laps to go. Jared Talmadge, Isaac Shelley, Planet Sim Racing, they've been in complete control, but now seeing a little bit of shuffle, some drivers getting fresh tires, seeing that second pack now going to be back into the mix. I mean, it is wide open now on who truly can control this race.
Yeah, it really is. This is turned everything upside down its head, and has brought a lot of new players back that were saying, man, I made the mistake on the pit stop, and now I'm not going to have an opportunity to fight for it. And that is so tough when you're just riding around by yourself, just not having an opportunity to fight with that front pack. It really takes the fun out of the race that you were having here, because you just want that opportunity at Talladega. Even if you end up on your hood or whatever, it really doesn't matter. You just want the opportunity to fight for it, and especially if you're in this chase, you want a good start to your playoffs, and we'll see who can get it done. I mean, the likes like Kanata, the 42 of Joshua Stovall, I think they really love this caution because their night was looking terrible at that if that caution did come out.
Curious if we can bring up our race recap before we go green here. If you're just joining us, well, what a time to join. We are about to get back to green flag racing with 7 laps to go. We've had plenty of different contenders out of this race. We've had 3 cautions, a lot of big wrecks. We're just as past one was just as we completed and finished up our pit cycle that kind of had 3 divided big packs all around. It was the front group that got caught up in this wreck. We've had 40 lead changes, 74 green flag laps, but we've lost a lot of chase contenders. Noah Steele out of this race now after blowing an engine. Danny Cochran, he's blown an engine and is out of this race. Cody Smith's trying his best to get some laps back and maybe steal a couple of positions for the 7. We also have lost Ethan Smith, Ryan Ferraro, and the biggest shock, Vincent Sora, last place points here tonight. Pace car pulls off into pit road. It's time for the shootout here this evening. 7 laps to go. We have overtime if it's needed. The Dega Shootout 250 to start out the chase of race 1 of season 8 is back underway. Talmadge, Shelley, they try to get in line and they do so successfully. Let the racing go on as they roar into Turbo 1.
Talmadge taking control of this race so far. He wants to have the lanes to his choice here. As Cody Reed now with the shove from his teammate of Ali Fonseca, they're going to have a big run down the back straight. Will the 27 get aggressive and throw the blocker? Will he stick with his teammate? Looks like he sticks with him as Reed now side by side with the 27.
Cody Reed going to have Ali Fonseca trying to get the big push. These two will find the dynamic of finding their way into victory lane in other leagues. We saw it in WSSR last season on Wednesday nights. Can he get it done here tonight for Cody Reed, stealing another race at Talladega in the playoffs? We'll find out as off the exit turn number 4, it's going to be a big wiggle from Talmadge, just trying to give every bump possible as Bar Morales, Nico Garcia, they're trying to help the drivers on the inside. Just it's tough to do anything. You're banking on the fact that you're in line, a little bit of bumps that you can assist with, but it's the outside groove with the nose ahead.
Big move from Reed as he dropped to that bottom side to take control. Now Fonseca controls the outside with him as his teammate. This is beautiful from Cannon Fire Racing is they're going to be looking to maybe get some help from their teammate Nick Crawford, who is that third truck in that outside lane. But don't forget about the 3 of Thomas Green. He's teammates with Shelley and Talmadge.
Find your friend, find your ally, and we're seeing the first driver bounce into the third group. No surprise, it's Joseph Stovall, and Stovall is going to be going wild as we're seeing how can you make this outside lane work for yourself, because this 42, Zach, he's been in complete control. Stovall has done everything in his power to move forward, but they are all trying to deke at this moment who has the better move. As now on the inside, Cody Reed, Ollie Fonseca able to hold back. They're going to have the alliance of Nick Crawford as now that third lane starting to get a little bit better lined up as they're finding strength. But that middle group, it's seeing Samuel Garcia now into the mix. There's a lot of teammates and alliances working. Bounce into the third lane. Now it's Nick Crawford. He wants complete control. It's Cody Reed, Ollie Fonseca, and now Martin Morales leading the top group.
Martin Morales with a big move bouncing on the top there. He is being now in position as he's ahead of that 3 of Thomas Green, and he is going to get the shove from that group. This is going to be right here, dead even heat across the line. Is actually Morales going to be the driver with the nose ahead here as we're going to be coming by for this time. 4 to go.
4 to go. You know that there are going to be a lot more moves that have to be made as now to the inside, going to be seen in contact. It's Morales. He gets pushed to the outside wall. It's Justin Forbes with the big shove, check blocking the 91. He has to reassess and get back in line. Ollie Fonseca bounces the third group, but there's no one there. Thomas Green, make a move and get out of the way. The 3 leads here at Talladega.
Thomas Green doing big things as he's going to drop down low right in front of the 25 of Reed as he's going to take control. Is now Garcia. Can he get the push from Michael Miller, who the 99 has been great here all night? And here comes the 42 of Joshua Stovall.
Stovall Miller, they just get back in line. Does Stovall take the win, or does he assist the 99 and say, hey, you gave me a gimme last season, I will give you a chance a season later. They'll be side by side. Thomas Green, Garcia, where do you go? The 50 machine looking for his first career win in the ISRC Truck Series. The 99 of Miller's looking for his first career win, but there's also big chase points on the line. 3 laps to go as they're on the back stretch, 2 by 2, but we know that third lane will blossom up. Who will be the first driver to take that opportunity?
The 42 of Stovall with the big shove to the 99 of Miller. It'll get him to the lead as Garcia was able to drop low, but here comes the 24 Fonseca to fill in the middle as Justin Forbes is on the outside with the help of his brother John Forbes as the 2 brothers will try to find the momentum. They're getting the speed up top. It's going to be almost a dead heat here when we come across for 2 to go.
Now Dakota Moniz is going to be trying to assist on that third group. You can see the momentum from the blimp cam. Who's willing to go where? Your best chance to take positions is go to that third lane. But the inside row, it's led by the 50 Garcia. Miller leads the middle, and Justin Forbes, all first-time winners, could be having a chance as they lead all 3 lanes in the backstretch.
I talked about the experience being what will possibly pay off here tonight, but it looks like a first-time winner might be the route we're going. Is down the back straightaway. Miller with the surge from that middle lane as the shove comes from the 24 and the 42.
Forbes would have blown. Forbes would have blown his engine. Huge. He is fading quickly. It's now going to be side by side as they exit out of turn number 4. Drivers trying to find their footing. Driver going to be on the inside. That's going to be Samuel Garcia coming back with the fight. It's Michael Miller through the tri-oval. We look to the flag stand. It's your gridless graphics white flag. Here we go, Zach, down into turn number 1.
Who's going to get it done? Samuel Garcia, Michael Miller. It is a battle. Who's going to bounce 3 wide is the question of all. But the 42 shoving the 99, he might be the one to do it here as they come off of 2.
Garcia goes high. He needs to go low. He's stuck in the middle. He finally gets in front of going to be that 3 machine of Green. Green thought he had an opportunity. They're going to be now squeezing. 2, 3. Where do you go? They're wrecking around. It's going to be Samuel Garcia. Also Thomas Green. Cody Reed going to be in the mix. Reed will have a run, but Thomas Green wrecks him. It wrecks him. Reed cuts through. It's going to be side by side for the lead. Cody Reed, Thomas Green, Jared Talmadge. Could he get the run? Cody Reed, and also Thomas Green. Being big, cross one another. They keep fighting. They keep wrecking. Talmadge at the line. Oh my goodness. Talmadge steals it. The 27 at the line.
Oh my God. Jared Talladega gets it done. What a job by him to just stay in it, but Reed and Green fighting from the tri-oval on, and it was disaster for them, and it was victory for Jarrett.
And almost saw a nightmare happen. But Jarrett Talmadge, welcome back to victory lane as he sweeps the super speedways. Getting a little bit of help in that 11 pushed across the line. As John Forbes' engine expired, he's going to be getting pushed as far as he can go. But Zach, I mean, it was mounting up. Garcia was there. He gets wiped out. And at this moment, I mean, Cody Reed was doing everything in his power. He thought he had a chance, was forced to the inside, and Thomas Green did every muscly move he can do, but he helps his teammate get the win at the end of the day.
What a wild scene here. Reed, I think, knew he had to run him up the track. He tried everything in his power, but unfortunately, he ends up back.
I don't know if Robert can go back to the replay, if we can try to go back and watch that ending, because it just went up in smoke crazy off the exit of turn 1. Drivers were fading further on back. And Jarrett Talmadge, I mean, we knew he could get a run. At one moment, Cody Reed thought he was going to be that third driver that gets stealed at the line. But it was Jarrett Talmadge out of nowhere. There's the wreck. The carnage of drivers. They were trying their best. This is us coming to the white flag. And Zach, I mean, at this moment, it was Miller. Was he in the better position? Was it Garcia? And they go side by side down into turn 1. It was everyone's chance. We look here, Jarrett Talmadge is the 5th car on the inside, Cody Reed's 4th car on the inside, and they're the ones that were fighting for the win that they're late.
It just shows you, man, you got to stay in it all the way to the end here at Talladega. Garcia with the excellent block there. I mean, I don't know how he got that timing well, but he did. He got back to the bottom. Then you see Fonseca. He's coming through the middle, but it's the push, I believe, to the 74, maybe from the 25 or either. I can't tell if it's a bad push or not, but it turns the 74 there, and that clips the 24. And then from there, I mean, that was a nasty move by Thomas Green, trying to push up Garcia high, and it was at his quarter panel there. But this is when things just get nasty, because Cody Reed's trying to get onto the racing surface. He pushes up the 3. The 3 says, no, I'm not taking that, and comes down, swipes the 25 around, and Jarrett Talmadge steals it at the line. And wow, what a move. Thomas Green tried everything, but victory was not in hand for the 3 there late. Man, oh man, wild scenes.
Extremely wild scenes, as you got to see the replay. For us, though, we will step away. When we come back, hey, we're going to talk to some of those drivers you just saw get spun around. We're going to talk to our winner of Jarrett Talmadge. And then we've got the 3 of Thomas Green, the 25 of Cody Reed. They'll also be in the booth. We might have a spotlight driver as well. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting, the post-race show for the first race of the chase for Season 8, the Dega Shootout 250. There were highs, there were lows. We were screaming at the top of our lungs. Maybe we didn't even know what was happening, but coming across the line, stealing it at the line, was Jarrett Talmadge. Jarrett Talladega Talmadge, you come away with the win here tonight at the Dega Shootout 250. How are you feeling after that chaotic finish?
I literally cannot believe that I somehow won that. Entering the last lap, I think like 11th or 12th. And I don't know, they all wrecked on the outside. Cody and Tom got to doing whatever they were doing there up front. We just kind of snuck by them to win it. It's insane.
Yeah, that was definitely insane moments there, Jarrett. Congrats, man. I mean, second super speedway win of the season and probably not a better timed one. I mean, how does it first off feel for the momentum of the playoffs? And this should move you now into the championship lead.
I'm going to get called a plate merchant now, man. I can only win at them. But the momentum feels great. I kind of felt like I lost momentum those final couple of races with just getting involved in incidents out of my control. And to honestly come out here and really just dominate the race, I believe it led the most laps. And to come away the win is huge for the momentum for the playoffs and the rest of these tracks down the line. So I can't believe it still.
I mean, Jared, I'm not going to put the tag of a plate merchant on you. We saw you won Las Vegas back in Season 2, so you do have a different class of racetrack one. I mean, this seemed like a complete dominance by your team, being in control most of this race. What was it like with the big moves, trying to stay up front as much as you could with yourself and your teammates?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, the goal is just to stay up front, and it's kind of hard to judge if you go up and you get clear the outside, you go make that block. Is the person going to take you top of three and hang you out to dry or not? So you kind of have to judge which blocks to make. And I think as a team, we all did a very good job of doing that and made the right blocks most of the time. I know a couple of them got a little dicey there, and one of them might have even caused a crash. But I feel for the most part, everybody in the field did a really good job of keeping it clean for majority of the race, which was really good to see for Talladega and trucks.
I mean, it was a blast to call. I basically shot my voice there late. But Jarrett, before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out all my teammates that helped, Ike, John, Danny, Vinny, and Thomas. Like, shout out you guys for putting on the broadcast. Everyone who runs the league. Like to shout out Gridless Graphics for the beautiful paint. It's now seen Victory Lane twice. Hopefully a couple more times this season. Go get you a paint if you need one from them. And that's about it.
Well, that will be your winner here tonight. First race of the chase is in the books, and it's Jarrett Talmadge winning the Dega Shootout 250 here tonight. Congratulations, Jarrett, on this win. Your second one of the season. Enjoy it, and good luck next week at Phoenix.
Thank you.
As we move from Victory Lane, this is when things get a little bit more hot and heavy. The thoughts here late, as we've got multiple drivers there in those closing moments of their thoughts here tonight. Second place finisher goes to the three machine of Thomas Green. And Thomas, you were making every move possible to get into Victory Lane. We, at first look, when it happened live, we're like, oh no, you took out Samuel Garcia, but on replay, that was a beautiful move you made on the 50. But coming to the line, yourself and Cody Reed, what happened there, and how are you feeling coming away second?
Yeah, first I just want to say sorry to Sam, because unfortunately it's super speedway racing. I was showing him the outside so I could cut low or just grab his outside on the quarter panel, and whichever one was going to happen, I would rather have done that than turn him. But obviously I cut down because I thought Cody might have had a run and I could have got a push, or maybe we would have been 3 wide coming to the finish. I didn't want to wreck him, and then obviously that happened, and I was going to just, side draft game with Cody until I got this huge door out of nowhere, and it just threw me up the track, killed my speed by a bunch, and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to chase his quarter, and if we make contact, we make contact. But I mean, there's only so much I can do, especially being wrecked for wins before by Cody. And I mean, there's not much I can really do at that point. I'm in the playoffs. I got to do what I can to be aggressive. And last thing I want to do is wreck people and turn a great clean race into a wreck fest. But yeah, there's only so much I can do in that scenario.
Definitely an unfortunate situation there, Tom. But I tell you what, man, you definitely coming home second, I think, can at least bring that home, that you're going to have some good points position, because you came in here tied with your teammate Jarrett in third in points, 8 back from Vincent and John, and of course we've seen their terrible nights unfortunately unfold for them. How do you feel after this? Because this has definitely put you in a position to possibly go win a championship.
Yeah, I think with the unfortunate nights that Vincent and John had, I think it just kind of made us capitalize, and it's even better that we got the 1-2 as a team too. And yeah, I think it'll definitely make the next couple of races interesting and a lot closer for sure. Still feel good with P2. I would have been fine with P3 or anywhere in the top 5 really. I mean, that's just a good start to the playoffs, but P2 is great. And I'm happy for Jarrett for getting that win. Definitely helps out on the team side of things and getting the 1-2. So yeah, definitely happy. I think it'll bring the playoff fight really close, and that should be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, forgot to unmute myself. But Thomas, we've got ourselves coming up 3 racetracks, very different from the dynamic that we had during the regular season. We got Phoenix, Darlington, Rockingham. What's the confidence heading into those type of dynamic courses that, like I said, we have not raced yet during this season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Phoenix is kind of one that I have circled. It's Darlington and Rockingham are kind of tough ones for me. I love the old surface stuff. Like I love old Atlanta. Like that was a lot of fun. Darlington and Rockingham are just like that, just kind of old and gritty, and you really have to manage your pace on those races. And Phoenix too, sometimes you really got to manage your stuff and not overdo it, not underdo it, and keep yourself in good track position. So it'll definitely be a lot of fun. I think Phoenix is definitely the one I've circled right now.
Well, Thomas, it was awesome to watch yourself and your team run so well here tonight. And before we let you go, floor's now yours for any other shout-outs.
Just want to say big shout out to you guys at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Always putting on a great show. Always love watching it back. Shout out to Jarrett and our whole team there for doing really good. Even Ike got up to P4, so that's great for team points. And big shout out to Anna for all the love and support. She watches all the races and she's always rooting me on, so big shout out to her.
An incredible run by Thomas Green, almost taking the win here tonight. He'll take second instead. Thomas, enjoy this one and good luck next week at Phoenix.
Thank you, guys.
So that will be the 3 machine coming away with second here tonight. We go down to third. Talk to the driver that almost had a chance for victory. Instead, will come away third here tonight. We have Cody Reed with us. Cody, at one moment, it looked like you were going to be the stealer of the show there late. Instead, you come away third. How are you feeling, though, after your performance here this evening?
A little upset. There were about 30 moments coming out of turn 4 that I thought I had the win secured. I really thought when he got Sam around that he would have been involved a little bit more, killed his run, but he kept up his speed like nothing happened. If that would have happened, I don't think Jarrett would have had anything for me. I probably could have just coasted to the line like it was nothing. But obviously that did not happen. There's really nothing I could have done differently. If I, didn't come up in the trial, but I kind of just lightly let my wheel go straight, so I could bump into him. It looked a little bit more violent out of the car, but really I didn't turn the wheel right or anything, just kind of drifted up into him. Really, Thomas, I've had my run-ins with him, and they've always really typically been my fault, and I've always felt really sorry about that. I really screwed him out of a win at I think it was Richmond or Iowa or something like that. He usually gets the worst half of it whenever we get into it, but he's always been really clean, and I feel like we kind of got to where we had a neutral relationship with each other. At least that's what I felt like. So to have him, hook his wheel 180 degrees to the left through the trial was a little upsetting. I was hoping we can maybe beat and bang to the line, have a close photo finish. That did not happen. So that's a shame. I don't know, pretty upsetting. Just this past few weeks in this league for me have not been great. With the whole kind of getting screwed out of a chance to win Las Vegas and get myself in. It was low odds of me winning that race and getting into the playoffs, but they were still there, and I felt like I really wasn't given a fair chance. Just gave me the average points for my average finish, which is fine, I guess. You know, but it's whatever though. Just kind of left a salty taste in my mouth. This finish kind of left a salty taste in my mouth. I was really hoping to win it. You know, we'll move on to next week. I think we're racing at Phoenix. I mean, I've won there. There's a few tracks in the rest of the season that I'm really good at, and I've gotten like, you know, like top 3 finishes. So I've got chances to win even after this race. Just kind of sucks. I feel like with super speedways, that's kind of like my specialty. I mean, I'm kind of a super speedway merchant in WSSR. So I wish it would carry over here. I'm always leading a lot of laps, always in the fight at the end, but I always get wrecked on the last lap, it seems. Just kind of sucks.
Definitely was an unfortunate ending there for you, Cody, man. It was so close, looking like you possibly were going to be, like you said, beating and banging across the line for that photo finish, but unfortunately didn't play out that way, man. Like you said, you do have some good tracks coming up. What is like your goal for the rest of the season? What do you think is the biggest thing you want to try to hit out for the rest of this year?
I really want to turn my season around. Like, obviously I can't compete for a championship, but I want to make it a point that if I had been in the playoffs, that I would have had a run for the championship. Like, I want to have really good points races. I want to race up front. That's just my goal. I want to if I could win the next, what is it, 4 races we have, 3 races, I want to win all of them. That's my goal. I'm not really I just need to manage my mistakes. The shorter season really kind of screwed me. This season we've always had a little bit longer regular seasons, and like playoff formats and everything, stages, whatever. It's kind of screwed me the wrong way. You know, I've had a few mistakes, whether it be my wheel coming off my stand or you know, wrecking myself at Chicagoland when I probably had the best shot to win out of anybody. Just stupid mistakes like that kind of screwed my season up when I could be, and after this race I would be in a really good spot to you know, fight for the championship. So it kind of sucks, but I just want to prove that I'm good enough to compete with the, you know, the Johns and the Vincents and Jarretts of this league. I feel like I've kind of fallen off a bit. Even last season with my 2 wins. Outside of those, I didn't have any top 5s. I had a really terrible season, and this season's been even worse. So I just want to prove that I'm you know, I can keep up with those guys.
Well, we cannot wait to see how you prove yourself in these final 4 races, Cody. Great job here tonight. I know you wanted that win, but still a solid performance overall. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Thank my teammates. They did good. It's kind of a shame we didn't really get in line at the end. I know Nick and Ollie were working together for a bit there. They were working together. I just couldn't get with them. But we were working together well, had a pretty good pit cycle, so I'd like to thank them. My dad's always watching the race, got to thank him. My girlfriend's actually watching this race, which she usually doesn't, but she's watching. It's kind of a shame I came up short on that. That would have been cool if she could see me win. But I'd like to thank you guys for putting on a great show as always. That last lap call was very exciting. I watched that back. I don't know how your voice isn't gone, Sam, but good job to you guys. And thank you for everybody watching. You guys are awesome, and I love you. Mwah.
We'll say water. Water's my best friend right now. Cody, we hope for the best. Congratulations again on a top 3 finish, and we cannot wait to see how you run these final 4 and try to turn this season around and again prove the what ifs for the rest of this season.
Right, thank you.
As we move from our top 3, we go down to 6th place to talk to the last driver who was a part of the initial what if he finds his way being up front. We had Sam Garcia trying to find his way into victory lane. Not going to be the case, but he'll take 6th and was just 1 shot shy from taking the Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover of the day. Sam, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. Congratulations on 6th. Man, you looked incredible there late, but what are you feeling emotionally after tonight's run?
I mean, honestly, I'm like, I can't really explain my feelings right now. It's because there's so much going through my mind right now. What happened this past 2 laps, I mean, honestly, I'm just speechless. You know, I can't really find the right words to say, but yeah, 6th place, and I'll definitely take that.
Definitely a good fight from you all night, Samuel. You were up front there at the end, fighting for it, of course. Take us through the back straightaway, because I felt like you pulled off an amazing move on the back straightaway to block that top line and then get back down to the inside line. Were you surprised to be able to pull that off as well as you did? Because it really worked to great effect.
Honestly, I really did not think that was going to happen. I thought the inside lane was going to have a huge run, and I wasn't going to be able to get down there, but thankfully I have just enough space so I can get down there. And yeah, I just knew coming into this race, if I ever was leading, I need to control the lanes, you know, make sure, you know, do my best blocking each lane, you know, try not to get any huge runs coming. So that's why I was, you know, doing those blocking moves, and thankfully it worked out. But fortunately, turn 3 and 4, you know, the rest is history. I would say that the rest is history, and yeah, I'm honestly surprised that I made that move.
Honestly, for us, we were kind of shocked when we looked at the leaderboards and we saw that you were still 6th at the end of this race, even with being spun around. Sam, we got 4 more races left in the season. We've got Phoenix, Darlington, Rockingham, and Kansas. What's your mindset for these final 4 races of the season for yourself?
Well, first and foremost is keep my head up. You know, I was close here, but tonight wasn't my night. You know, so you just gotta keep my head up and move on to the next, and continue the grind, continue the practice, and yeah, be ready for the next upcoming races.
We cannot wait to see how you perform, Sam. Before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
First of all, I want to thank my family who are watching currently, and I want to thank my teammates. They've all been very helpful, you know, with strategy. And let's see. Thank y'all for the broadcast as usual. And you know, shout out to my YouTube channel. You know, check out content on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. You know, just yeah, I'm just 6th place. You know, could have finished first, but you know, I guess I'll take it.
And we know that win will come for you, Sam. We cannot wait for that moment to happen, but still an incredible moment seeing you being up front and taking control. Take those highs as you can. Congratulations on a top 10 finish, Sam. Enjoy this one, and good luck next week at Phoenix.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you later, Zach.
As we'll be seeing Sam and Zach out there on track Wednesday night in the WSSR VRS Cup Series, as that will finish up our interviews as we're bringing up our unofficial results. It is a wild night, and that's usually what happens at Talladega. You never know. Coming out of turn number 4, you may not be the victor at the end of the day, and we had 4 different drivers that we could have said was going to win there at the end, and ultimately it was Jared Talmadge. We're coming right off the exit of the tri-oval. The 27 finds himself in victory lane. His teammate of Thomas Green might have been controversial, but it keeps and it stays. The 3 is going to get 2nd place. Cody Reed thought he had a chance to win. Well, he'll come away 3rd. Isaac Shelley showing so much dominance with that Planet Sim Racing team being grouped up with Talmadge and Green. He'll come away 4th. Joshua Kanata slides into 5th. And Samuel Garcia, the 4th driver that we thought had a chance to win, instead will take 6th. Our going to be Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover of the day goes to 7th place finisher in the of the 91 of Mark Morales Jr. To all you Stovall fans, 8th place is where the 42 finishes, with Trent Jump 9th, and finishing out our top 10, Tyler Dangler gets another top 10 for himself.
Solid ending there for a few guys, Sam, as we look to the rest of the order. Some strong finishes in that first 10, but some playoff contenders outside that top 10. As you see Nick Crawford there in that 11th position, he'll be looking to move on to next week. John Forbes, 16th for him, so he was able to finish 16th last on that lead lap. That is at least important for his likes of a championship. And then going to look farther through the list, it's going to be some drivers who definitely didn't want their night to end early, and that is going to be back here in the 24th position, Noah Steele, Danny Cochran back here in 25th, and Vincent Sora back in 27th, and along with Ethan Smith back here in 26th. Some tough finishes there for those guys late in this, or early and late in this race.
Yeah, ups and downs all around. I know a couple of people have been saying that finish was crazy. How do you have a voice left? We barely do at this point of the broadcast. But Zach, I mean, that's what Talladega always brings out. Incredible finishes. The last race is going to be hectic and crazy. But with the way that this race finishes out, it could spill into the rest of the chase. We've got 4 races left. We've got ourselves Phoenix, Darlington, Rockingham, Kansas. A lot of fast racetracks in front of us. First time we're seeing a lot of these shorter courses this season. I'm curious if anything tonight spills over to those future races we see.
It very well could. I mean, definitely have seen, emotions run high for sure before, and it can have, impacts on things. So we'll see how that continues. At the monitor those situations for sure, but I think these next couple races are going to be very important, especially Phoenix setting the tone. First, kind of real short track, points race of the season. And I think who could come out of there and get a victory and turn, maybe a bad run out of here and around. Or if you're Jarrett Talmadge, I think the big thing for him is just continuing this momentum and maybe trying to go win a championship. Because, I mean, our 2 title favorites, I think, coming out into tonight are actually not looking nearly as good as we thought that they would, going into a week 2 probably.
No, our top 3 all finishing outside of the top 10. Nick Crawford finishing 11th. That is opening things completely open for Thomas Green, Jared Talmadge, and even Joshua Kanata with him finishing 5th. It is right there in the grass for a lot of these drivers, as well as Isaac Shelley. A lot of great racing action, and like you heard from Sam while he was exiting, you'll be seeing Zach on Wednesday night, and we hope to see you there as well, as we've got ourselves WSSR VRS Cup Series action. Race 2 of Season 11 is going to be on this upcoming Wednesday as the drivers take the next-gen cars to the Rockingham. 180 laps going to be the distance, and you don't want to miss it. Zach, I've heard from drivers. You've said it to me as well. It's going to be a tough race, and there's a chance there's going to be a lot of yellows Wednesday night.
Yeah, we're hoping for not a lot of yellows, but if we can have some green flag laps, I think it'll be awesome to watch. But on the track, it's going to be a difficult task, so that's why we think yellows will, of course, come to be a factor. Of course, with the size of the field, that might not help either. But I tell you what, if you want to watch some good old racing action at Rockingham, because they're bringing, of course, that they just recently brought the track back to NASCAR competition, well, come here and watch some iRacing stuff and see possibly what maybe in store for the Cup Series one day. Maybe they'll go back to Rockingham, and we'll give y'all guys a little bit of a preview of that. I'm sure it'll be intense for everybody viewing for sure.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss the first actions of the broadcast, because with the amount of drivers that have signed up for Season 11, we are expecting to see knockout qualifying, so you do not want to miss the beginning of Wednesday's broadcast. But for us here tonight, we want to say thank you to all those that viewed with us, that were chatting, supporting your drivers. We are so honored when you come out on Monday night to see the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series covered here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, for Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone else here from Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we appreciate you coming out on Mondays and Wednesday nights to check out the racing coverage that we provide. Tonight was a good one. Plenty of moments from the beginning to end that got us on our feet, got us screaming, and have completely changed this chase upside down. The favorites, they're going to be having to work their way throughout these final 4 races for a chance for the Season 8 championship. Others, they're starting a little bit higher than most. We can't wait to see how the rest of this championship continues, as it will be next week at Phoenix. There'll be race number 2 of 5 of the chase for Season 8 of the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series. But if you can't wait until then, well, you don't want to miss the madness that will happen Wednesday night as the WSSR VRS Cup Series heads to the Rock. Race number 2, it's a test of survival. We'll see you then on our next Freaky Fast broadcast.